The Lance Drury Law Firm will protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll free at 888-367-6512.
So shopping is just, we're talking about inflation. We're going to talk about that today. Prices of everything have gone up. They're still high, and you are trying to make your dollar stretch. I get that 100%. That's why we shop at Ruler Foods. We try to make a weekly stop at the Collinsville Ruler Foods, and we save on some of the most basic groceries. I can't stress enough how much you need to give it one shot, because my job is to try to get you to try it once. And I promise you, once you're in there, you're going to go, I should have been doing this a long time ago. So there's a Ruler Foods near you. You just got to go to rulerfoods.com, and you will see that you can easily search your area, maybe close to your house. Maybe it's close to your work, possibly, and you find out what Ruler Foods is located that's best suited for you, and you start the process. As everybody is getting ready for basketball parties and celebrating a big tournament, you can get great deals on Ruffles and Tostitos. It's big bags, 4 for $9 when you buy 4. Hunt's pasta sauce or Kroger pasta, 10 for $10. Also, you can go through your regular staples, your produce, clementines, apples, great savings on those as well. Save with low prices every day. No coupons needed at Ruler Foods. Go to rulerfoods.com.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orris and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Tuesday. Here in St. Louis, it's a thing called St. Louis Day because it's March 14th, which means it's 314, and that's our area code. Happy St. Louis Day. I thought about how do you celebrate St. Louis on 97.1 on the Annie Frey Show. Is this a beloved city? Of course it is. Are there things about the city that are, traditional to you? Things about the city that you love? Is there a baseball team that you love to cheer for? Is there a pizza you like to eat, or a specifically gooey kind of cake you like to eat? Of course there are. Does the city need to improve? You're darn right it does. And I'm looking in and I'm like, gosh, is this the day that I go in on what's going on in St. Louis, or is this the day that I don't? Brad, thoughts? Do you know what we're talking
I think
about?
we should go in on it.
You do?
Yes, because today's actually a big day for St. Louis in another way.
Oh, yeah? Okay, let's listen to it. Fox 2.
A source telling me that Gardner does plan to respond in detailed fashion today to the filing by Missouri AG Andrew Bailey. A judge has weighed in, saying last month that if Gardner does not respond by today's deadline, then she could face a judgment by default. Bailey initially called on Gardner to resign in the wake of the horrible crash last month downtown that resulted in 17-year-old Janae Edmondson of Tennessee losing her legs. When Gardner refused to step down, Bailey filed a motion called Quo Warranto to try and remove Gardner from office. Bailey's motion accuses Gardner of neglecting her job in multiple ways, including failing to prosecute cases, failing to keep in contact with victims, and failing to review and file cases submitted by St. Louis police. Gardner, though, has fired back, saying Bailey's accusations are politically motivated and that she is doing her job correctly. Gardner's supporters have also spoken out, saying that she is the victim of what they call racist attacks and illegal lynching.
So that is a report from Fox 2. And I would say these local news has done a fantastic job. 245, all of them.
I would agree
11.
100%.
Throw 11 in there. Don't leave 11 out.
They've been all over it.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And to me, it seems it's refreshing to see reporters, and I know some of these reporters who have specific political bends one way or the other, doing a great job, and I commend them for that. So let's listen to, that's the local report on it. Leo Terrell, who you see on Fox News, had something to say.
Kim Gardner is influenced by an institute called the Vera Institute of Justice. They take the assumption, John, that the system is systemically racist. I've said this ever since I've been a Fox contributor. How can the system be racist? She's a person of color. She's been the DA for 7 years. And get this, John, what they do now is they don't look at a criminal's prior history. When they present a case to a court, they ignore the criminal history. That's how you have career criminals. She's doing everything to comply with this institute that basically believes that the system is racist and that only black people are the ones who are victims of this systemic racism. It's not true. She's been there for 8 years, John.
Leo Terrell followed up and says Kim Gardner's the problem.
Let me just simply sum it up by saying this. Kim Gardner makes the assumption that if a person of color commits a crime, it's racism. How? I mean, John, this systemic racism card, the Democrats, George Soros, will never let it go because it drives division. And what she's basically saying is, I'm not going to prosecute people because of skin color. Not the crime, but skin color. And what about the victim, John? We haven't talked about the victim. You know why? Because Kim Gardner wants criminals to come in and feel comfortable in her city. She needs to be impeached, not today, yesterday.
So I take what I hear from a Fox 2 reporter a little more seriously when it comes to what is going on in St. Louis, potentially what needs to happen in St. Louis. When you see somebody like Leo Terrell, who I enjoy listening to what he has to say on any particular issue, on a national stage, wouldn't you say, Brad, there's a more of an invested interest in a political win than in what's best for St. Louis?
Yeah, I would think so.
It doesn't mean that what they're saying wouldn't be what's best for St. Louis.
Right.
But the interest on a Fox News story about Kim Gardner is because it pushes a storyline that benefits a broader picture. Not to say that the broader picture is wrong.
Right. I think that's a fair assumption to make. I think whenever you look at this, Fox wouldn't have a local interest in what's going on in St. Louis because Fox isn't located in St. Louis. Fox isn't. They see it as a story that they can sell, and their brand has a political bend to it, and so they're going to sell it in that way so that they can basically make money off of it. But that, like you said, it doesn't mean that what's going on in St. Louis isn't true, and it doesn't mean that what Leo's take there was wrong.
So Ryan's in here as well. So we've got Brad and Ryan, and this is my challenge. So how do I? Because boy, would it be easy for me to just trash St. Louis up and down right now because there are a lot of things that are of concern. When was the last time you went downtown St. Louis? And when you went downtown St. Louis, how much did you research where you were going to park? How far you were going to walk outside? What time of day? When was the sun going down coming up? I mean, these are things that people from the suburbs who have figured out how to exist outside of the city, St. Louis, and kind of be able to rub elbows a little bit. You know, St. Louis Cardinals, yay, we love our team. The Battle Hawks, Caca, we went over that clearly yesterday. Go Blues, go City. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
okay.
was not an affirmative yeah.
City SC, right?
St. Louis City SC.
So
wait a second.
Go City.
That's what I just said. Go City.
So yes, I'm saying yes.
Okay. But you seem like you're in my camp where you're not 100% sure.
I'm agreeing because I don't know a better way to say it.
Go City.
Go City.
You know what we mean.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I have so many people in my life who are big soccer people who are over the moon about the soccer team here.
Mm-hmm.
I am really happy for them.
You know what? I am one of those people that I grew up playing soccer. I love soccer. I understand soccer has St. Louis roots and it's big like that. But I've never enjoyed watching it on TV. I've tried watching all the Premier Leagues and the Champions Leagues and the international stuff, and I just have never enjoyed that style of soccer. But the St. Louis City plays an aggressive style of soccer, and it is sucking me in and entertaining.
3-0, baby.
Yeah, and I'm so entertained by it that I went ahead and bought the MLS package for this month.
Sucker.
So I can see it all.
Good for you. You're a good fan. You're a good St.
Well,
Louis.
I wasn't. I saw the first Free game. I was like, ooh, but then I also have to see the home opener, and that one was behind the paywall.
That was why it was free. To get you in.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, are there good things to celebrate about the city? There are. And we are in a position, especially in a news talk, issue-based platform here on the radio, we are in a position to really dwell on the crap things that are taking place in the city of St. Louis because they do need to have a spotlight on. Again, just as I said, when this is discussed, when the Kim Gardner scenario is discussed on a national level on cable news, that's not inherently bad or wrong or malintended. But nobody there is truly caring about the specificity of St. Louis. We do. I do. I'm sitting in it right now. So here's what I think we should do. I'll give Brad and Ryan an opportunity to do this first, and then we'll take some calls in the next segment, and you're only allowed to say positive suggestions. You're only allowed to assess. You can identify a problem, but you can't do it hatefully. And yeah, I know you want to get it out with Hannah when you call Hannah. But when you come on with me, if you start talking negative, then I'm just going to hang up on you with one button push. But what are positive things that you think could be done, realistic things that could be done in the city of St. Louis that would turn it around? Because I care about the success of the city. I have thought about running for office. I have been asked to run for various offices. And I recently, within the last probably 10 months, thought, I think being the mayor of the city of St. Louis would be where I felt like I could do the most, the fastest, closest to home, even though I live in Illinois, because it affects all of us. I think there are some obvious things, but let's do this because it's St. Louis Day. Is that what you say?
314 Day.
314 Day?
That's what it's called.
That's what the cool kids say on the other stations.
Well, that's what we're going to say to try to be
314 Day.
Yeah.
And that is the area, like I said before, I'm going to explain it in plain words for even me to understand. Since it's March 14th, it's 314 Day. That means it's St. Louis Day. Let's talk positively, constructively about real things that Tashara Jones, the mayor of the city of St. Louis right now, what can she do that you would support? I don't care if she's a Democrat. I don't care if you didn't vote for her. She's the one who has the responsibility to do it. Ryan, what do you think could be done to improve the city of St. Louis?
Aside from the obvious, which is support law enforcement, I'm going to suggest this. Maybe something like this already exists, but it needs to be front and center. There needs to be a small business coalition in St. Louis that she invites everybody who wants to run a business or is running a business in the city to come and just have an open door policy with the mayor and say, what do you need? And then fully support that stuff when you hear it enough from enough small business owners. Because small business is what's going to bring back the city.
What do you think, Brad?
So, like Ryan said, aside from the obvious, to me, the obvious thing is flood the city with police officers. Hire more, get them on the streets. Just the presence of police officers will make people feel more safe. And to Ryan's point, that will attract businesses. So flood the city, have a strong police presence. Even if you can't get everybody prosecuted, just having people there will help. And then to me, this is going to sound really silly, but the streets in downtown St. Louis are an absolute mess. Fix the roadways. Pave the roadways, get rid of the potholes. I'm tired of driving over metal plates that are nailed to the ground. Fix the infrastructure.
Actually, I'm pretty excited to see those because it's better than the hole.
That's true.
That is the improvement.
Right. But fix the roadways, fix the infrastructure.
Make the roads look nice. If you want to call us, so we're going to take a break here in just a minute. 314-241-9797. 314.
Of all days. 341.
314. 241-9797. There's somebody in like Boise going, why are these people calling me from St. Louis?
Why are you telling me how to improve St. Louis? I don't care.
Somebody find out where 341 is. 314-241-9797. Here's one of the very first things that I would fix. And I thought you were going to go and say this, Brad, but you didn't. But I think we would all agree. Start enforcing traffic laws downtown St. Louis. Speed limits, red lights.
Oh, my gosh.
Red lights. If you were driving in downtown St. Louis and the light has been red for 5 seconds for the other folks and green for you for the, 3.5 seconds, you best be looking both ways because you could get totally smoked. Enforce, along with adding cops to the streets, along with improving the roads, enforce traffic laws downtown. But give me a heads up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me know so I can also be a part of the solution.
I've been known to roll a light or two when I don't feel comfortable. If I'm sitting next to somebody at a stoplight, and I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but they're getting your attention, they're yelling at you, they are honking their horn or whatever, I'm just going. And I will do that. And if a cop wants to pull me over, I will be happy for the escort.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
A whole host of issues. Here's the number one more time. We're going to take a quick break here. Chad, you're first up, waiting on the line when we come back. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. What are your positive ways? You are not allowed to whine and moan because we all get it. We love this city. We want to make the city better. What are your suggestions, positive ways that we can make an improvement? 314-241-9797. Give us a call. Take your phone calls when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, if you call them 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, call or text, you're going to have access to the bagel loan. Rates are coming down. With everything that's going on in the economy right now, rates have gone down again, which means if you're thinking about refinancing, this is a great opportunity to get connected to Stewie and use the bagel loan. The bagel looks like a zero. That's why he calls it the bagel loan. You pay zero in fees that other lenders out there will charge you for. Saving all of that money on all those closing costs, not having to pay them. They don't exist. He doesn't roll them into the loan. If you want to refinance your mortgage and lower the rate from one that you have gotten here recently, I would say if you need to be checking if it's in almost the last year. As rates have gone down, your refinance that doesn't cost you anything to do it is going to save you a ton of money in interest over the course of the years. Call my friend Stewie. I'm a 2-time refinancer with Stewie. You'll love the process. He closes so fast, like a 12-day close. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dearborg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint, and as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
It's the best part of the week. The Mark Reardon Show Fish Fry Fridays continue, and this time we're in Manchester.
Come join us for a meal and the live broadcast at Christ Prince of Peace Church.
We're in Manchester, Missouri this Friday for the Mark Reardon Show Fish Fry Fridays on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy St. Louis. God dang it. Happy 314 day.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Did we figure out where 341 was?
No, I think somebody looked it up, though, and they said it was I don't know.
I should hire them. 341 area code.
Let's see.
Oakland. Well, it's kind of the same.
Boy.
They probably, those suggestions would work.
Yeah, just say the same. Call them. Same thing, I'm sure.
They can't. They don't have a day because there's no 341. So we should share it. It should be our sister city.
That's right.
With lots of
no
suggestions.
matter which way you cut it, they don't get a day.
Here's what we're doing. And we have one line open right now, 341. 314.
You are doing it.
It's the 241. Whose idea was that?
It's the ad wizards up at the top.
This is how often I take phone calls. Two things are going to happen. You're going to call Oakland or Stewie. I need you to call me. 314-241-9797. And here's what this is your task. And I've got Chad and Chris and Bob and Pam and Paul ready to go here. When you come on here, you're going to have to be brief because I want to get to as many people as I can. And we're not complaining. We're giving positive suggestions and encouragement. Brad and Ryan are going to help me keep this in a positive direction. Let's start with caller Chad. Thank you for calling us. It looks here like you're a juvenile officer.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Ann? I listen to you guys a lot.
Thank you, Chad.
And one of the things, I think the mayor was onto something. She just didn't go about the right way. I've dealt with juveniles for 30 years, and one of the things that you have to focus on is preventive measures. You know, when she said she wanted to have counselors ride along with police officers and assess situations from a counseling point of view, that's not when you do it. You do it before it becomes an issue.
What crisis.
I mean by that,
right.
What I mean by that is you flood the schools with these counselors because we have a tremendous juvenile problem. I'm going to look at it from that angle. They're taking the kids and sending them back home. What you should do is when those kids are caught, you assign them to counselors, okay, with the supervision of the courts. I do it. I know it works. I have a caseload with kids who don't reoffend because they know I'm going to be on them. So you're going to build relationships before they get out. And if they do commit a crime, if you cannot get them in front of the judge, you assign them to counselors. So when the judge does get them, they can make it mandatory. But I will most definitely flood the schools. And also that money that she spent, I'm going to say this in closing, money that she spent $5 million to give people $500 a month. That was crazy to me. What I would have done, I would use that money and give these counselors that she wanted, give them a program to take them to soccer games, basketball games, a lot of drive trainings and a lot of other things, but it should be mandated along with the courts and the schools. And you would watch the crime rate for the juveniles plummet. I guarantee it. I've been doing it 30 years. I know it works.
Chad, thank you for the call. I appreciate that so much. And investing in our youth and him having, as a juvenile officer, having the experience of, when I hear him say that if he gets assigned to a case, he's going to be on him, that's what these kids need.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And it is such a good point to say that the idea of putting these counselors in cop cars after the crisis has already been created, that's maybe not where the counselor is going to have the most effect. I mean, there's certainly a scenario where you need a counselor involved, but I don't know that you can go wrong. Well, you can certainly go wrong in investing in bureaucracy, but I think the youth is definitely a great place to start. Let's go to Chris here. Chris, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Annie. I'm a police officer in, I guess you'd say, southern Missouri.
Thank you for what you do, Chris. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you for your guys' continued support. It's greatly appreciated. To kind of follow up on what Chad was saying, I'll give him the counseling part. However, there's got to be a backup plan when that fails. I mean, it's got to be either juvenile detention or something, because it seems like the majority of these crimes in St. Louis, I mean, that they cycle out to other areas, other metropolitan areas in St. Louis. A lot of these crimes are committed by juveniles. But to get back to the question, we need two things. One, we do need more police officers out there, especially around sporting events and whatnot. But we also need these crimes that these police officers are charging. We need them prosecuted, and we're not getting that. Like I said, I'm a police officer. I have 2 kids. My wife convinced me, against my will this morning, to get Cardinal tickets for the 314 promotion they were doing this morning.
Yeah.
And I told her, absolutely not. We will not go to a night game, because I will not be in the city of St. Louis after dark. I just will not do it.
And you're a police officer. I mean, you're the type of guy who understands surroundings and everything. And I mean, isn't that a shame? Because you want to take your kids to those games. You want them to be there, and it could be better.
Right, and this is going to be their first games. She wants to make it a big deal, but I told her it's going to be a day game, and even then, I'm going to be very on edge.
Yeah. Well, good for your wife for pushing you a little out of your comfort zone, and good for you for being concerned and compassionate towards your family. Thank you for what you do, Chris. We appreciate your phone call.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye. Let's talk to Bob. Bob, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, Annie, the big thing to fix is crime. I agree with your other 2 callers, but there's a basic root cause why we have a lot of youth crime, and that's because the Afro-American community does not have father images to keep young men straight. So that's a long-term fix, but if Afro-Americans would stand up and be fathers instead of baby producers, I think that'd go a long way to fixing crime. And once crime's fixed, people start coming back downtown to St. Louis.
Bob, thanks for the phone call. Brad, you want to say something about that?
I don't think it's fair to call everybody of a people group baby producers.
Yeah.
He's on to something. We need fathers in the household, but I don't think that's a wholly uniquely African-American problem.
It isn't. But I would say that if you looked at crime statistics across the board, how many juveniles, it doesn't matter what their skin color is, how many juveniles do have fatherless homes? So the fatherlessness of that point, I will agree with. The specificity of the skin color, I think, is a little unfair. Let's go to Pam. Thanks for calling the show.
Hi. I just want to say I agree with Chad and Chris about some points that they made. And I really think that we're putting just a Band-Aid on the city of St. Louis, on a gushing wound that we have. We have to get back to education, basic education in our school systems. And it's just not in the city of St. Louis, but it's across board. And in order to fix St. Louis and make it productive, and a city that everybody wants to go down and enjoy a soccer game at night or a baseball game at night, we have to start with the youth. We have to get the youth. And in order to do that, we've got to put some money into education into the city of St. Louis. And that's just how I feel about it.
Pam, thank you. I appreciate that. Education is not, I mean, I don't hear shouting accolades about the public school system in the city.
No. In fact, I would say that school choice, statewide in Missouri would actually help St. Louis quite a bit, give people a leg up, and maybe go into schools if they find that their school is failing.
The domino effect of school choice is so massive.
It is.
The ripple that comes from giving a parent the choice to say, you know what? That school sucks. I'm going somewhere else. The school that sucks is not going to continue to exist the way it exists, one way or the other. It's going to have to improve. It's not going to have any students.
Right.
And the schools that are absorbing those students, that are offering something that is preferable to the zip code restricted places of education that some children are forced into, those schools are going to have to expand and potentially advise other places to improve. And there has been a bit of a consistency here, I think almost in every phone call. Kids.
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah, it's a generational change. That's amazing that people are keying in on that.
Let's talk to Hunter. Hunter, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think?
Hey, how's it going? I was going to talk about how we need to get Bill DeWallet to spend some money on the St. Louis Cardinals pitching rotation, but I think a better idea would be to buy a couple really nice bulldozers, bulldoze Lambert, and rebuild an airport. It is the business card for the city of St. Louis, and that place is a dump.
Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
When I go into other airports, I'm always like, wow.
He's right.
I'm not saying if we could figure out the money and the investment and everything, but what Hunter's saying here about, because we're all talking about like downtown crime and kids' education, he's coming in talking about the airport, but he makes a good point.
He's on something.
Yeah, go ahead, Hunter. And the Cardinals
New
sign
Orleans
with you on
has
that.
a new airport.
Yeah.
Kansas City just opened a brand new terminal. We have money. The state has money. I think it could be a state issue too. The state could step in and spend some money on the airport as well, because Kansas City got it done. We need to get it done. And also about the single parenthood rate, that has exploded since LBJ's Great Society program in the 1960s across the board, not just in African American homes.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need to de-incentivize single motherhood. Yes, there is great single moms out there, and they're doing their best. I get that. But you got to have fathers in the communities.
Yeah.
Without that, kids will not get the true meaning of life.
Hunter, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. If you don't have a father figure in your life, you will find something that replaces that hole.
You know what's interesting is I would almost relate that to what the first caller, I don't remember his name is now, who was talking about just being there as Chad for kids who are in those circumstances. I mean, in the limited way that he can, but that's how much it takes. It doesn't take a lot. Just for a kid to know that, especially if you're a boy, that a father figure, a man, cares about you, even if it's not the way that we all would want. That matters. And it goes so far.
I'll tell you what, I've coached a couple youth sports teams, and to pour your life into a young man like that, the kids that don't have dads, the kids that do have dads, the kids that have absent dads, it means so much to them to get positive male affirmation.
Since we are real big on gender norms on the Annie Frey Show, wouldn't you say that stereotypically, I mean, this is like super stereotypically, because I don't even know if this is the case in my house, but the mother's role is a nurturer, a comforter, a presence that provides an emotional level of support. And the father figure is generally the disciplinarian. This is where maybe it's not the same in my house. Well, at least I contribute my fair share. Let's put it that way. But the father is supposed to set boundaries. And I'll tell you what, Dad, I'm talking about you. When I am over at my parents' house, and they live in this old 120-year-old house, and so I grew up in the Centennial farm home, the steps are wooden and they creak. And if I, as a 38-year-old grown butt woman, hear those footsteps going up those stairs, I'm like, oh my God, is my room clean? Like, immediately. I'm terrified. And I'm like, no, my room's a mess. And it's in the house that I'm paying a mortgage on in the town on the other side of the tracks. Like, I don't have to deal with this anymore. But the presence of my father is the unspoken presence of boundaries.
it instills, for lack of a better way of describing it, it instills the fear of God into you in ways.
Well, he did that too. Separately, but also at the same time.
In ways that are very important personally for everybody to have personal success, but they translate into societal success. And everybody who's calling sees that and acknowledges it. And you're not saying anything controversial by saying that.
If I were to, if my father was able to, with his footsteps on creaky wood steps upstairs towards my room, God, I can hear him going, Annie, get up here. If that, as a child growing up into an adult, has instilled in me the sense of I have an expectation that if I don't meet it, my dad will enforce something on me. If that is completely ripped out of my life, how am I possibly, as a young person, supposed to go in the world and understand what I am to do and what I'm not to do, and to respect the fact that society has expectations on me? If it's never taught to me, which, going back to what a lot of these individuals are saying when we're discussing the idea of fatherhood and two-parent homes and valuing the family. I mean, we're talking about how do you fix St. Louis? And at first we're like potholes and maybe stop at red lights. If you really want to fix it, it's much broader than that. And it will take a long time of investing in it before you see the dividends of that investment. But it would be worth it the very first minute you make a commitment to do that.
You hit on a key word there, expectations. And it's not just that dads have them or moms have them. Society does too, but society doesn't care about you. Your mom and your dad, they show you, I care, here are the expectations.
Yeah.
Society says, here's the expectations, and they don't have any care about you at all as an individual.
Do you think as a society we're relaxing our expectations on people?
We are, because nobody can meet them because nobody is meeting them. So you just have to keep lowering the bar.
Can we put Wiggins America at 145 and
Nope.
take the rest of these phone calls?
Of course. This is fantastic. We should do this for as long as we can.
It's for the betterment of the city.
Well, then fine.
Go city, I think.
For the Lou.
We have almost full phones here. John, Todd, Joe, Scott, Paul, hold on the line. One line open, 314-241-9797. If you want to call, we'll spend the rest of the hour talking about positive ways to improve the city of St. Louis on 314 Day. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
This is Wiggins. I was talking to Brad yesterday about this very topic, about sleep apnea, about what it's like to have a mouth guard from Fountains Family Dentistry and how much it really does change your life. So go to fountains.familydentistry.com if you want to see all the details, more than I can just tell you right now. But on a day like this, coming out of a weekend where we lost an hour of sleep, maybe you're feeling extra tired and you're realizing how much that sleep apnea is catching up with you as you get older, because it kind of creeps up. If you have one of these mouth guards, the amazing thing is, as your jaw relaxes, which is what sleep apnea is, you can kind of adjust it. So just yesterday, I adjusted it out just a little bit and got a great night of sleep tonight. I didn't even sleep, I don't think, 6 hours, and I felt great. That's the magic, the miracle of having one of these things. No medicine involved. You just get a retainer that fits in your mouth and you wear it at night. And I'm telling you, it is going to change your life in so many ways, not just sleep, but your overall health, which is so dependent on sleep. So visit Fountains Family Dentistry. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. You can make an appointment online right now at fountains.familydentistry.com.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates as best laser eye treatment in St. Louis Magazine's A-List competition. Online at stlmag.com.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is where real local and national accountability happens. This is 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
This is how you know it's supposed to be Wiggins America.
But I will cede the floor.
Yeah. Well, we've got people holding on the line right now, and we were going to get to all of you. 314-241-9797. We'll get to as many of you as we can. We got to stay brief and get to the point. But we're talking about positive ways that St. Louis can be improved. It's 314 Day, March 14th, St. Louis Day. And we think this is a positive way to look at an issue that is facing many of us and improving the situation. So let's talk with John. John, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How can we make the city a better city?
Well, I don't have specific suggestions. I love everything that the previous callers have said. I just want to say I grew up in rural Illinois. I live and work on the east side, and I love St. Louis. Mm-hmm. We've got Forest Park, we've got the Muni, we've got the zoo, we've got the Fox Theater, we've got Jazz St. Louis, and I am not going to let fear dictate my behavior.
Well, yeah, I think, John, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. It's everybody's choice.
I mean, that actually is a solution, is to not let fear overcome, going to Cardinal games and stuff. You just got to be more careful than you used to.
We heard a police officer who called us earlier whose wife wanted to go to a Cardinals game, and he's like, not a night game. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people who are like that. I have taken liberties in this city that are a little bit more bold and brave than I would even be comfortable with my husband doing, which sounds so stupid, but when you're doing it yourself, you feel like you're in control. That's the way I feel. But it's, There's a way to go about your life and not live in fear, but there's also a way to be aware of the situation. And I've been in this city multiple times where murders have happened within blocks. I've heard the gunshots. Mm-hmm. So you do have to be aware of that. Here's Todd. Is this our Todd? Todd, thanks for calling the show.
Hey, Annie, good to talk to you again.
Thank you for calling us.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple different things I think about. I think about it from the top and the bottom. First of all, there's got to be a way to educate our voter base to where we can get some conservative, fiscally responsible people at the top. It sounds impossible in the city, but Jefferson County 20 years ago, you couldn't elect a Republican to save your life. Now it's completely red. So there has to be a way to educate people in the city and give them the confidence in the conservatives to get them into those offices where they need to be. That's from the top. Now, if you look at it from the other end, it's the neighborhoods taking responsibility for their neighborhoods as well. We helped our oldest son buy a house in Benton Park at Arsenal and Jefferson. His tree was beautiful. The houses were all real well manicured, redone. You could go 2 blocks either way in any direction. It was hood. It was horrible. So, I mean, the neighbors in the neighborhoods need to start taking responsibility for the people, for themselves, of course, and the people living around them, and hold each other accountable to making their neighborhoods better.
Todd, thank
where you feel safe.
Yeah, I think that's good. And accountability is definitely one of those things that you can't. I was saying this when the whole Kim Gardner thing came down. It is super lazy. Oh, it's 97.1. It's the Annie Frey show. They're the Republican show. To go on here and trash Democrats for the whole time. I mean, good grief. If you want to point at the Democrat leadership of the city of St. Louis and say they're a disaster and they're the problem, where are the Republicans that can beat them? Where is the conservative movement making the case and spending the money and raising the money to beat the Democrats? You got to do it. You got to show up. 75% of the people who voted in Kim Gardner's election voted to reelect her.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's why it doesn't necessarily have to be Republicans.
No, it doesn't at all.
But just introducing the ideas even to Democrats who are open to them. Who cares about the label? It's about what works. And the things we're talking about today are what works.
Joe, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think?
To that point, the Republicans all moved to the county.
Yeah.
But the north side is a huge issue because we've abandoned it 100 years ago, and it's just empty and crime-ridden. And there's something called LRA in the city that is a land revitalization authority. And they control the land. It's like if you go in, they will outbid you at a tax auction. Or if you want to buy a building up there that they control, they want $1 million bond to make sure the work is done in a certain way. And since the 80s, I mean, we've been driving Fortune 500 companies to Texas and Atlanta and other cities because we can't. That's a third of our city we've abandoned.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Joe,
that's a huge issue.
Joe, I agree with that because I come in on the Stan Musial Bridge every day, and just you get kind of a one, not even a whole minute, but just a swipe of what North City looks like. It's so sad.
And that's what
crumbling.
That's what people who fly into St. Louis experience when they come into North City. And that's why he was saying, well, we need to improve Lambert. Really, we need to move Lambert. Because if all you're experiencing is the poverty part of St. Louis, it doesn't cast us in a good light.
Paul, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. What do you think?
Well, thank you guys for having me. I was thinking one of the positive changes is that we can rework how the historical registry type things work. A lot of the older neighborhoods, especially based on age, get put on historical registry, and it's very hard to update those homes and make them look nice. Just psychologically, having homes that look good on the outside will help even just the neighborhoods feel better, and people will take a lot more pride in it.
I think that's a good suggestion as well, Paul. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Bill. Bill, how do we fix St. Louis? What are some positive things we can do?
Oh, well, thank you. I hope you can hear me. God bless you for what you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
My father raised me, but he was always working, and I got to be with him on the weekends. And I tried to raise 3 kids, but I was too busy always working. But what we need to do is get some more, what they're at that age where they need to learn a skill and stop dropping out of schools, change the law where they have to stay in school. Because right now they got that attitude where they don't have to listen anymore because the law supports them.
Bill, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I wonder how much could be done, because I'm suggesting things that maybe are in place and just not working. But how much could be done to integrate skill development in school at a younger age so that there are developing type of skills that maybe don't require, there's a lot of things you can do. You did a story of Wiggins America previously about, is a degree still necessary? But if you were more inclined to understand skilled labor in high school, shop, that kind of stuff, even if you didn't obviously know the skill, but maybe if you graduated high school going, I really enjoy doing this, that's going to be a better paying job. And that's the avenue. I would think.
Yeah, and I don't mean to keep beating the school choice drum, but that would also help with that issue, because if you really liked the trades and you found out at 12 years old you really liked them, you could go to a school that focused on that a little bit more.
Jeff, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you reaching out to us here. What do you think? Jeff, are you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I am a landlord in St. Louis, and up until 2 years ago, for over 20 years, I had 170 tenants in South St. Louis and 20 some in North County. But just watching those 170, 90% of them were fatherless homes. And the difference between the ones that had a father in it and the ones that didn't was amazing. So I don't know if I have the answer, but definitely a focus of creating that creating a father home in the home would be a significant difference. And, who can come up with that solution or at least making it better would be have a tremendous impact.
Jeff, thank you. I appreciate that perspective, because if these people who are on the front lines of understanding how these households are working are seeing this, that is absolutely a consistency that we've heard today. Ryan, thank you for calling the Annie Frey Show. How can we make this a better city?
I recently visited Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Austin, Texas. And when I saw all of the housing being built in kind of the outer counties outside of Austin, I just wanted to cry. It's just, you see all of Silicon Valley, they're moving stuff to Texas. And, you think about a place like Austin, all right, red state, blue city, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Red state, blue city. But, we just got to acknowledge the factor that Texas is just a nicer climate, and they've got more sunlight. That's why they call it the Sun Belt. And I think people here, we just got to acknowledge the fact that this is a city of 300,000 people, used to be 800,000 people. We're not really getting any bigger.
Sure.
And I was in Milwaukee. They had to give $1 billion just to get Foxconn to build a plant there. Austin, Texas doesn't have to do that. So I think people just need to be realistic that we can try to fix things around the edges, but I just don't see this whole metro area getting any better, whether it's on your side in Illinois or over here in the county. And it breaks my heart, but I just don't really see, we can try to find short-term fixes, but I don't really see a long-term fix. But I think regional leaders need to acknowledge that we can't just rearrange, the chairs on the Titanic. We've got to really think long term,
Ryan,
and acknowledge the reality.
I appreciate your perspective on that, and maybe that's true. Maybe what we want the city to be isn't what the city is going to be anymore. But we do have to understand that what it is right now is not tenable. It's got to change.
And we do want to move forward.
Jim Carafano, Joe Concha, we come back.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
So building a home on the Illinois side of the river is much, much easier when you partner with C.A. Jones. If you go online to cajonesinc.com, you are going to be able to look at some of the beautiful homes that they have built right now. They have inventory that you can choose from on their website. It also gives you the opportunity to see some of the models that you can look at in Blueprint that are going to give you a good look at how this layout really looks and feels in person. C.A. Jones is very, very well known for their quality of service, their quality of build, their high efficiency when it comes to energy, their lifetime waterproof basement warranties, 10-year builder limited warranties. C.A. Jones is there to see see you through from the very beginning. You walk inside their door and you start having the conversation about your new home and you go, I think this is what we want to do. And they see you through the whole thing. And it is exciting. If you are looking to build on the Illinois side of the river, go to C.A. Jones, online at cajonesinc.com.
Hi, guys. It's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Tuesday, March 14th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chilly times stay with us going through our Tuesday afternoon, but partly to mostly sunny skies and light winds will certainly help. 45 for the high today. Tonight, clear and cold, 28. Wednesday, cold start, though lots of sunshine. Windy and warmer Wednesday afternoon. 57 cloudy skies and 63 on Thursday, but rain for Thursday afternoon with a cold rain on Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hit the propeller of a U.S. Reaper surveillance drone, causing the drone to crash into the sea. The U.S. Air Force says the drone was on a routine operation in international airspace. Kirby says President Biden was briefed on the incident earlier today. Today marks 1 year since Russian fire in Ukraine killed a Fox photojournalist and an interpreter, leaving correspondent Benjamin Hall with serious long-term injuries.
I think it's a question I ask myself is how do you get through this every single day? That was true when the attack happened. That's true every morning. And I think it's just that you have to know that there is always some hope, that no matter how hard things are, there's something good if you keep working towards them.
After about 30 surgeries, Hall still faces more operations. Today, Fox Corporation marking 1 year with another $1 million donation to the American Red Cross for Ukrainian relief efforts. The collapse of Silicon Valley Bank is now under investigation by the SEC and the Justice Department.
This decision to investigate would be something they made independent of the White House, and we're told that it does include the possibility or a probe into possible insider trading by SVB executives.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Las Vegas, where President Biden will head later today after wrapping up a California visit with an executive order aimed at reducing gun violence. Wall Street's been rallying as regional bank stocks rebound after an inflation report largely in line with expectations. Right now, the Dow's up 110. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When the U.S. starts telling another country to end the war now, it's time to take a hard look at your own protection plan. If you've been on the fence about buying gold and silver, it's time to act. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call Oxford Gold right now and ask about bonus opportunities you may be eligible for. Call 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh. Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Cast your vote where it really matters. Local school boards. The Save Our Schools rally is Tuesday, March 28th. Come meet the candidates who align with your values. Go to 971talk.com/events and join us March 28th, 5 to 8 p.m. at Wenty's in Chesterfield. Mark Cox here. Join me me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 21st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and sick of losing so much money in your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k tax-free and protect your nest egg from any more losses and still generate more income than most investment options? Would you like to know how linking to the market instead of owning the market is so much safer for your retirement nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, March 21st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you are buying a home on the Illinois side of the river, Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance is going to help you navigate that situation with ease. You're going to enjoy it. She's been in here several times to play X's and O's. She's incredibly fun, but she's also whip smart when it comes to navigating the market, the buying, the selling, what's coming available. She has buyers for your home right now. If you are looking to sell, contact Jen Teskey. Here's how you do it. You can put this number in your phone. Get to her when it is convenient for you. She'll let you text her. She'll be very happy that you texted her. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. When you sign up Jen Teskey as your realtor with RE/MAX Alliance, you get a dedicated team of professionals that are going to treat your entire situation as if it were their own. They are going to help position you in the best possible way to sell your home. If you're looking to buy a home, they are not going to quit until they find you exactly what you're looking for and help you move through that buying process with ease. Call or text my friend with RE/MAX Alliance, Jen Teskey, at 618-541-1010. That's 618.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Mark Cox here. Give Grill Master Tony a call for all your corporate lunches and catering. He does box lunches, which includes the meat, a couple of sides, a chocolate chip cookie, and even a drink. You can choose from brisket, which is delicious, by the way, hickory smoked prime rib, or turkey French dip, even pulled chicken. Grill Master Tony's Catering. You've got to check this out. He'll deliver it and set it up for you as well. Order online today at grillmastertony.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, look, there are only two countries in the world that present an existential threat to the United States. One is China, and the second is Russia. So if you have a country called Ukraine that is defending its sovereignty, its territorial integrity, and they're knocking down the Chinese, I mean, they've all but decimated the Russian army. The Russian army. And that's a good thing for us. And it doesn't mean that the other things that he mentioned, such as border security and building up our military, are not important. They also are very important, but we can do both. I think it's the right approach to defend democracy around the world and to support our friends and allies. And it also sends a critical message to China. And so in other ways, it helps with regard to our longer-term struggle against the Chinese.
So the former Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, says that Russia and China are the only two countries in the world that present an existential threat to the United States. And we have news within this morning into this afternoon that a Russian Su-27 jet collided with a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Black Sea today, according to the United States defense official who reported this news. What does this all mean? Well, we talked to our friend Jim Carafano.
Jim Carafano
These are dangerous times.
Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at Heritage.
So, Mr. Carafano, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're always grateful to have you here. A little news this morning with that Russian jet and our drone. What do you make of that?
So it actually sounds like the Russian jet intentionally interfered with the flight of the drone, which is international airspace. Yeah. I mean, so it's not like they accidentally collided or something. I mean, the plane. It sounds like the plane actually was trying to knock down the drone. That's what
Yikes.
The source from the Pentagon sounds like. And if that's true, that is basically it's international airspace. It's a violation of norms, and it's completely wrong. And so, having said that, is it World War III? And the answer is no. Look, I mean, we had an incident where the Iranians shot down a drone, and we didn't start World War III, and I don't think this is either. It does show the continued belligerence of the Russian and their completely disregard of all the conventions that they've ever signed, right? So whether it's the Geneva Convention, which they've completely violated, or the UN Convention, which they completely violated, or international conventions on airspace use, which they violated, it just goes to show how feckless they are. So I'm sure the United States, normally in these things, you would take a proportional response, which would definitely be short of World War III. The United States is not a party to the conflict in Ukraine. We're not going to become a party to the conflict in Ukraine. And quite honestly, this act of Russian stupidity isn't, I think, going to stop anybody from providing assistance to Ukraine. So I would, if you ask me what's going on here, I would tell you it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Jim Carafano on with us right now, the Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Last night, Tucker Carlson went through and reacted to some responses that he solicited from potential presidential candidates. Right. Here's what he said from Ron DeSantis.
Well, the U.S. has many vital national interests, DeSantis writes, securing our borders, addressing the crisis of readiness within our military, achieving energy security and independence, and checking the economic, cultural, and military power of the Chinese Communist Party. Becoming further entangled in a territorial dispute between Ukraine and Russia is not one of them. Without question, he writes, peace should be the objective. The U.S. should not provide assistance that could require the deployment of American troops or enable Ukraine to engage in offensive operations beyond its borders. F-16s and long-range missiles should therefore be off the table. These moves would risk explicitly drawing the United States into the conflict and drawing us closer to a hot war between the world's two largest nuclear powers. That risk is unacceptable.
So Ron DeSantis' response to Tucker's request on how do you feel about Ukraine? That's what it was. I'm sure you took in several of those assessments. What do you think about where the Republican Party is as a whole on this really, really important issue?
Look, I actually think if you actually parse that statement, it says kind of way less than meets the eye. Nobody's ever claimed that Ukraine is a vital interest of the United States. If it was a vital interest of the United States, the United States would have to fight and defend in Ukraine, and we're not. So nobody. I don't think everybody has made the argument it's a vital interest, but the United States should not become a party to the conflict. Nobody thinks that's a great idea either. Look on the particulars of the F-16 issue, and look, I have probably one of the world's most accomplished F-16 pilots that works for me. I mean, this guy ran the demonstration team for the U.S. Air Force, and he's a veteran F-16 pilot. And not only that, I mean, he's talked to more F-35 pilots than any other living human being. So this is a pilot's pilot. And he looked at me in the eye and he said, "Look, we're not going to give F-16s to Ukraine because it's just not practical. The training, the logistics, it's just not going to happen. So F-16s are not in the cards." I think, quite honestly, anybody can read whatever they want into the DeSantis statement. But actually, the DeSantis statement isn't really far off of what actually current U.S. policy is.
You know, I think that I say this as
and here's my problem with the statement. Not that I is, and my problem with other people. They're not focusing on the problem. The problem is not Ukraine. The problem is Joe Biden. We have a terrible president who who is completely incapable of dealing with any foreign policy situation, whether it is running away from Afghanistan or managing bipartisan support for Ukraine. That's our problem. And I wish people would focus on the problem.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that, because I was going to say, as a very entry level foreign policy, I'm just inquisitive. I have no expertise, which is why we have Jim Carafano on each week. These are the types of issues that I'm leaning in, and I'm almost assessing where the situation is just based on sourcing all of the opinions out there. But it's not really something that's based in a true understanding of what is taking place overseas. Whenever these things get thrown into the political arena, and we are in a campaign season now, it has begun, right, it's very difficult to separate what is the political message, the heartstring that the politicians are trying to pull, and what kind of danger are they playing with at the same time?
Yeah, it's having kind of been in this business through several presidential campaigns and war and peace. Here's what I can tell you. So first of all is Americans are not voting on the Ukraine war. There are no Americans fighting and dying in Ukraine. They're spending money there, but we've got $6 trillion of deficit spending. So if people are concerned about spending, there's lots of issues they're concerned about. People are concerned about their jobs. They're concerned about the border. They're concerned about a precedented rise in crime. That's what Americans are voting on. The other thing is a candidate can say whatever they want when they're a candidate, but they can't direct foreign policy until the day they're president. And on the day they're president, they have to deal with the world that they have, not the world that they, that they, when they're not in charge of anything. And so I don't put a lot of stock in campaign rhetoric actually, if you listen to the campaign rhetoric of John McCain and Barack Obama in their election, it was almost identical. I used to actually take foreign policy quotes that the two candidates had made and showed them to people, and people would guess wrong who said what. And of course, Barack Obama as a foreign policy president looked nothing at all like he did on the campaign trail, which he actually sounded kind of moderately reasonable. So I don't put too much stock in a lot of this.
Sure. Well, I appreciate. I like that perspective on it, because you're in the know and you understand it, and essentially we are all accessories for campaigns. They just want to get us on their team, and they'll do and say many things in order to make that happen. I'm curious what you think about the bank situation.
Well, that's in fairness to the candidates, that's the purpose of campaigns.
Right. Yeah.
To convince people that you're the person that really empathizes with what they wanted to vote for them.
Well, okay, let's talk. You mentioned the spending that takes place in our federal government, and that's compromising the safety and the security of this country. The bank, we've got a collapse of a bank, maybe a few. Lots of Americans are concerned about the economy. Where do you factor those issues into your thoughts on foreign and security policy?
Well, I mean, this is the great challenge for the United States, which is, look, we have to defend ourselves, and we have to be fiscally and economically responsible. And I actually think, I've actually got a couple of people that have come in. I actually think we can do both. I mean, we've got to get our fiscal house in order. We just have to do that. We really, really do. We need to really think about how we're spending money. And we spend $6 trillion in nothing that's going to grow and improve our life or economy. It's all on stuff that just make woke people happy, to be honest. And that's really got to stop. But we don't need to compromise our position in the world to do that. And I'll tell you why. There are more things breaking our way, despite who the wacko president is, because, the enemy gets a vote, and sometimes they vote stupid. The Russian military, every day it fights, is weaker than the day before. So the Russians have significantly diminished themselves as a military threat. The Chinese have been so aggressive and obstinate and ugly in the world that they have a lot less friends than they used to, and there's a lot more people that want to work with the United States. Iran is actually in a bit of a turmoil. They've got their own domestic problems. They haven't figured out how to fix their economy. The Israelis are not going to cut them any slack. So we can actually do a lot in the world, and we don't need 100 more divisions and 87 more aircraft carriers to do it. But we do need to be able to demonstrate the willingness to defend our interests, and we have to be able to demonstrate that can be responsible about our own economy. We have a president that doesn't know how to do either of those two things. So it's like we had a really good baseball team, and we're heading for the playoffs, and everybody else is, starting to lose games, and we have a Yahoo for a manager.
Well, you're speaking St. Louis. You're speaking baseball language here. It's definitely something we understand. Talking to Jim Carafano right now. We have a great manager, though. We love our manager. Let me ask you this question, and we're going to shift gears here one more time because I have this image in my head, and people are bent out of shape because Tucker Carlson provided more context to a story, and they're saying he left out context, which is kind of funny to me. What about when the president goes to the border after being told, go to the border, go to the border, go to the border? They clean up the border for him. He drops in, checks the box, and leaves. You want to talk about missing context? I mean, what do you make of the year plus 2 years of outrage over January 6th? You're in Washington, D.C. You know a lot about this versus the complete ignorance towards our southern border.
No, well, look, first of all, I will say this about January 6th. I said it a gazillion times. If people thought that we were serious about finding out what happened, we would have done like 9/11. We would have had a bipartisan commission, and we would have looked at this in an objective way and made an assessment, not just on the people that we politically hated, but on the responsibilities of the senior officers in the House and the Senate, and a whole bunch of other things. And we didn't do that. And to me, what that demonstrates is from day one, January 6th has been a political fight. It hasn't been a fight about our security or democracy. And I think the more we find out about that, the more we dig into it, the more we find out about the operations of the committee itself. That's what most Americans will decide for themselves.
Well, we appreciate you each and every time you have a guest spot here on the Annie Frey Show. Jim Carafano, we look forward to talking to you again next week. There will always be more to discuss.
Thanks, my friend.
We'll do it again. Bye-bye. Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Go follow him. Tell him hi on Twitter. He's always so kind to us on Twitter, very complimentary of us, as is many of the radio shows that he visits. You can go say hi to him at JJ Carafano. You can follow us at Annie Frey Show. I was tasked to get like 20,000 followers or something this year. So if you could just create some accounts and follow me, that'd be great. Hey, I don't think that they care who it is. And half the people on Twitter are bots anyway, right?
Right.
So, get your bots and follow the Annie Frey Show. Give me a break. Let's take a break. When we come back, Joe Concha. Always a treat to have Joe Concha on the Annie Frey Show. You got to kind of like buckle up when Joe comes on the show. I ask a question. He gets paid by the word, and you will understand what I mean when I say that. When we come back, we're going to talk about all sorts of things with Joe in just a minute on the Annie Frey Show. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
FoleyDentalGroup.com. Go make your dentist appointment right now. Foley is accepting new patients. I'm typing in the website right now, so I'm going to just go to that website with you, FoleyDentalGroup.com. Located in a brand new spot with a beautiful building there. You are going to find them at 270 and 159 in Maryville. They are wonderful at assessing your whole health through your dental visit, which is really kind of great if you think about the dental insurance that you're paying for. You're going to go in and you're going to see them, and they're going to get to tell you more than you would expect just by caring for you in the normal dental way. They are wonderful when it comes to helping with sleep disordered issues for all ages. If you have kids who might have, attention span concerns, undiagnosed sleep disordered breathing can put you at a higher risk for heart problems, stroke, chronic allergies, chronic fatigue, and also misdiagnosed ADHD in children can be because the sleep is not adequate. Talk to your dentist at Foley Dental Group. I love going there. My family loves going there. All of us visit Foley Dental Group. You can too, taking new patients. Call 618-288-9670, 618-288-9670, online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great. because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dave Simons, certified financial planner.
The domino effect of letting Silicon Valley go under and not protecting all those deposits. You're talking about a great recession and then some.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Now, it's important to note, President Biden does nothing at 9 a.m. He is a night owl. So the fact that he is doing this at 9 a.m. anyway speaks to how vital the White House recognizes it is for him to have his voice out there, conveying that to the American public.
Oh, what you know, Joe. Joe Concha, columnist for The Hill and Fox News contributor.
The President of the United States does nothing at 9 a.m. That has been told to us by Jen Psaki. I guess she would know. Joe Concha joins us now. Does it come as a surprise to you, Joe, that this is a really special treat for the American people that he was working at 9 a.m.?
Here's the thing, Annie, all right? And your producers can go on Google right now, right?
Okay.
And all you do is put in president's schedule. That's it. And what will come up is the president's daily schedule, as it happens under any presidency. And it basically lists exactly what he's doing on a particular day. Guess when his day started today?
When?
Throw out a number.
I mean, 9:30?
Oh, you're being generous.
Yeah.
11:30 a.m.
I want
is
that
the
job.
first thing on his schedule, and that's when he receives the daily brief. That's a security briefing, all right? So if you're thinking about going into Taiwan, maybe get up a little early and you'll be A-okay, all right?
What happens if something bad happens at 8 a.m.? I mean, realistically speaking, it's hilarious to joke about, but then you think about it a little bit longer, like maybe this isn't as funny as it is concerning. Can we afford a president that does not work before 11:30 a.m.?
Is it concerning or disconcerting? What do you go with there? It's kind of the same thing, right?
I could make a case for both, I think.
You can, yeah. It always annoyed me that it meant both. But, yeah, look, you see this president goes to Delaware every weekend. And I don't begrudge a president getting away for a day or two, playing some golf. Obviously, the White House can travel anywhere, right? Because it's not like the old days where you need to be near a fax machine in a conference room, right? But he does this every weekend. And the thing that bothers me about it is because he leaves at, say, 3 o'clock, all right, on a Friday, and then doesn't come back till noon on Monday. And it's like, well, not every weekend can be Memorial Day weekend, all right? I mean, you got to put in the time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people don't want him to run. And I'm talking about Democrats. it's not like the age, the number itself matters, 80. I think it's more that he acts 90.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's no work ethic there because he doesn't have the energy.
And it's not like you can look around and go, well, everything is great.
Yeah.
The country is not really functioning as well as it should be. So it does make you, anybody at their job, if you're doing your job, if you're getting it done, a lot of bosses will say, I don't really care when they do it, just get your job done. I start to care about the hours when the job's not getting done.
Oh, indeed. And look, if this is the type of situation, if you're like Michael Douglas in the beginning of The American President, I remember he's having a conversation with Michael J. Fox, and Michael J. Fox is like, all right, Mr. President, you're at 63% approval. Things are going pretty well, right? You're at 63.
Yeah.
When you're at 41, 42, where this president never seems to leave, right? It never goes below 40, it seems lately. It never goes above that 42 because there's a certain amount of people that will always support him no matter what. Because there's not so much supporting Biden. That's hey, do you support Joe Biden? Well, if it means I have to support Republicans. No. All right. So I say he's doing a good job. Yeah, look, he's underwater big time. When you go individual issues, inflation, he's underwater 15 points. The border, he's underwater like 30 points. Crime, education, you name it. Nothing is stable right now. Nothing feels like it's going on the right track. So you're right. In those situations, oh boy, I better at least look like I care because politics has a lot of optics involved in it. But instead, it's like, nothing to see here. And Jen Psaki, boy, you could really see now, Annie, why there was a bidding war for her services, right, between CNN and MSNBC. What analysis. I mean, she is so phony. I'll just be completely honest. And you take Peter Doocy out of her life, and suddenly she's not very interesting, right? She needs a foil. So they give her all this money, and what happens? They're giving her a noon slot on weekends? Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't wait to come on your show to talk about the ratings and how basically F&R are watching. What's F&R? Friends and relatives.
Man, I love it how basically we've just advocated for the president of the United States to manage up and just look like he's working. Like that's the kind of the summation of this.
We'll settle for that.
Yeah, just pretend. Just make it look good from the outside looking in. We have a YouTube live chat poll every day on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and today is for our audience, which is certainly right-leaning. Who is your desired 2024 Democrat presidential nominee? I have Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, and Sanders as options, but it could be anybody. Who do you think would be the best person that is a realistic possibility for the Republicans to run against in 2024?
See, this is why you're a highly rated host, because that was a good question, particularly the way you ended it, where realistically, let me go with who they should go or at least consider, right?
Yeah.
A guy like Jared Polis, he's the governor of Colorado, right? Just won very comfortably in a purple state. Mm-hmm. And the guy resists some of the woke stuff that are pushed by Democrats so much. I'm not saying I would vote for him, but if you want to get somewhat towards the center, he would be a decent possibility. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, who realistically outside of Joe Biden could have the nomination? My choices are Kamala Harris, the absentee VP. Who else? Bernie Sanders, who's already in his 80s. So if he were to win 2 terms, we would have the first president in his 90s, which is something that, again, nobody wants any part of. And then who was the third?
We said Pete Buttigieg. I mean, he's there for some reason.
Right. And then if we look at his LinkedIn page and we see performance as transportation secretary, all I know is the FAA is grounding flights. We had a supply chain crisis, and he goes on maternity leave for 2 months, or paternity, excuse me. And then the latest one, obviously, with East Palestine, takes him 2 weeks to show up there, and he goes in a pair of shoes that's worth more to my apartment in Hoboken. All right, so the guy is out of touch. He's elitist. No one would vote for him, I think, in the end, in the middle. So
great shoes, though.
I guess we're stuck with Biden as the nominee because there literally is no plan B.
Well, but you just said earlier in our conversation, there's a 40-something% doesn't budge. That could be enough, depending on who the other guy or girl is on the Republican side. It's not unrealistic to think that Joe Biden could win re-election.
No, it's not. I mean, most times, if you're an incumbent, you win a re-election, right? I mean, George W. Bush got re-elected. Bill Clinton easily re-elected. Reagan easily re-elected. George H.W. Bush and Trump are the anomalies. And with Trump, you take away COVID. I'll take this to my grave. He would have won in a landslide because we had peace and we had prosperity. Forget the mean tweets. If people's 401ks look good, their savings are good, their wages are up, and they see we're not at war, they're going to vote for the guy even if they don't like him. So all that said, Joe Biden, could he win another term? It depends on who the nominee is, quite frankly, because, again, it goes back to what I said before. They don't support him as much as they vote against the other party. And the guy who gets the vote out the most on the Republican side is the former president and Donald J. Trump. So, I think DeSantis could beat Biden quite easily. I think Trump could beat him, but I think it would be a lot closer than would make people comfortable. We'll put it that way.
Joe Concha with us right now, political columnist at The Hill, Fox News contributor, a friend of the Annie Frey Show. You have seen, like all of us are watching on social media, Donald Trump is swinging hard against Ron DeSantis, I think is he's got a nickname and a shortened nickname already, a nickname for a nickname, you might say.
Yeah.
And DeSantis is not in the race, but clearly is the biggest threat to Donald Trump. Primaries are ugly. They're always ugly. You just kind of want to get through them, push through them. This is maybe where we have to be. What do you make of the Trump, DeSantis, and then everybody else in the Republican primary so far?
Trump is swinging at DeSantis, and he is missing badly. Because by doing this as often as he is, on the issues that he's doing it on, like Florida was closed for too long, no one in that state would tell you that was the case.
Yeah.
So he goes after DeSantis for that. Or the best is that he says, you know what, Charlie Crist did a really good job. The guy that DeSantis just beat by 20 points, you're saying did a good job as governor of Florida when he was only there for one term. Okay, that's an interesting argument. So with Trump, he looks small when he does this, all right? He looks insecure. He should be. Because if it comes down to he leads in polls where there's multiple candidates in it, where Nikki Haley gets her 5% and Pompeo gets his 3% and Pence gets his 4%. But if you take them out of the race and you make it one-on-one, I think Donald Trump is in serious trouble because the guy with momentum right now, the guy who's putting up wins right now is Ron DeSantis in Florida. And, oh, by the way, if we're talking about age again, there is a 35-year age difference there. I think Trump could beat Biden. I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm not saying Trump didn't do a great job when he was president as far as the economy, particularly the trade deals, which no one talks about. I mean, that was masterful. But in the end, lately, it seems that when Trump does this and he tries to make it personal, I think the act has gotten old, quite frankly.
Well, my producer, Brad, was the first to notice that Ron DeSantis looks like he's slimmed down a little bit as a key indicator that he might be running for president. And I think, for him to poll as well as he is without being in the race, I would assume he's going to get a bump if he were to enter the race. Do you see the other candidates, dropping out maybe before voting happens if they see DeSantis has the momentum, we're not going to beat him, and we're going to muddle this down? Do you think that there's going to be an anti-Trump coalition among the Trump opponents in the Republican primary?
I do. And Larry Hogan announcing that he wasn't running was a good indicator that this won't be like 2016 where we had 18 candidates and probably 12 of them were there to sell books or to get more time on cable news, right? Because they knew they couldn't win and they stayed in it for far too long. John Kasich, here's looking at you, right? And hey, got signed by CNN right after, go figure. But that's the thing. I think that Nikki Haley is a smart person, right? I think she wants to be vice president, Annie, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that Tim Scott is a very sensible person, and he would be an excellent vice presidential choice as well. I think after Iowa and New Hampshire, if they're polling, way back, there is no comeback that's going to be happening at that point, particularly if DeSantis is winning, and then they would get out and probably then seeing the momentum going where it's going, endorse DeSantis. And people forget, by the way, Trump didn't win Iowa in 2016. Ted Cruz won it, right? And Trump barely eked out second place over Marco Rubio. So it's not exactly like a home state for him. And then New Hampshire, in the polling that I've seen, DeSantis leads Trump now at being an undeclared candidate. So if he wins Iowa and New Hampshire and he has that momentum and the other candidates get out, it's hard to see Donald Trump coming back. But then again, I would never, ever count this man out because he has defied the odds again. And again, no question about it.
It's hard to imagine being surprised by anything, and yet I'm surprised by everything. You said Tim Scott, I think great vice presidential candidate. Nikki Haley, Secretary of State, would make a wonderful cabinet under Ron DeSantis. I'm a big Ron DeSantis fan, but it's the frustrating thing about Donald Trump, for me and for a lot of my listeners, the highs are so high. He has done so well with the things he's succeeded in, but the baggage is heavy. And it's hard to reconcile those two things. It's like he has the biggest upside and the biggest downside at the same time. And, you wonder if he doesn't win that primary, he can play a spoiler third party still, can't he?
I could see him doing that completely. Yeah. In other words, my party left me. They abandoned me. The media abandoned me. You know what? I'm going to go about this on my own. I'll just have to do it on my own. I could completely see that happen. The problem with Trump now, his best moment during this campaign, which isn't much of a campaign until this point, was when he went to East Palestine. That was a perfect contrast. You got Biden over in Europe worrying about other countries, and here you have Trump worrying about the forgotten man, the little guy, Rust Belt, Ohio. Perfect, right? Stick to that, stick to issues, and you can beat DeSantis. But he keeps concentrating and talking about January 6th over and over again to the point where you're like, dude, it's 3 years later.
Let it go.
I know you felt like you were wronged, and a lot of your core supporters feel that way as well. But people want to know how you're going to improve their lives, what your plans are for X, Y, Z to reverse this disaster of a presidency. And he does not have the discipline to do it. And you can say, well, maybe later in the campaign he will. I don't see it happening. So it's just going to be a replay of January 6th on a loop ball over and over again. It's going to come down to his personality instead of policy. And that's why I think more and more people are warming to DeSantis, because then that becomes a policy debate and a perspective debate. Do you want Florida or do you want California to look like the country? It's a pretty good argument when you consider crime is down at a 50-year low in Florida, unemployment of 2.5% in that state. People are flocking there more than any other state getting out of blue states. That's a pretty good elevator pitch right there.
For sure. Well, that third party run by Donald Trump is how we get a second term for Joe Biden, and how maybe you write your fifth installment of Come On Man, the truth about Joe Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad presidency.
No, don't make me do it again.
Well, someone's got to. You're like our historical figure now. You get to write down, all scribe everything that happened in one series and make money off of it. God bless America. Right?
Oh, good Lord. My next book is Not Your Daddy's Donkeys. That's all about how where the Democratic Party was.
Yeah.
I'm not talking like JFK was. I'm talking like Bill Clinton, even Barack Obama, and what it's become now. And it's an infinitely fun book to run. It's It's writing itself, and it comes out in the fall, but I write it every day because I get very excited to do this, because it's such a contrast. And it just tells you that Democrats went from being the party of the little guy to the party of the elites. And it's just a stunning turnaround.
Man, probably cheaper than therapy, too, to be able to put all that down in a book. Joe, thank you. We love having you on. We look forward to doing it again soon.
I'm a friend of the show. I'll talk to you soon.
100%.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Political columnist at The Hill, Fox News contributor, at Joe Concha TV. Tell him hi on Twitter. Say hi from the Annie Frey Show. Like I said, he's a friend of the show, and he repeated it, so now it's official. It's kind of one of those things you float out there as a host. You're like, ooh, maybe he'll grab onto it. And he did.
Outstanding.
Put that in the win column for the AFS today. Let's take a quick break. We bumped Wiggins America from 12:45 to 1:45 because in the 1 o'clock hour, I took your phone calls on how do we make St. Louis better? We can sit here and complain about Kim Gardner. We can complain about crime. We can complain about potholes and red lights and blah, 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 blah. But what can we do to actually improve the city? We discussed that in the 12 o'clock hour and took a ton of phone calls. You guys did great. If you want to hear that, you can either podcast the show, wherever you get podcasts from, Annie Frey Show, or get on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and rewind to about 12:15. That's when we started taking phone calls. Brian Wiggins in studio. When we come back, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Hey, stop your squawking, just ain't talking, 'cause I don't know.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Your flooring purchase is just a nice little Michael's Flooring Outlet visit away. You can go onto their website, igotfloored.com. You can request an estimate right straight from the website there. But you can also look at the different products that they carry. They have carpet tile, hardwood, laminate, tile, luxury vinyl, waterproof flooring vinyl, natural stone, glass tile. Whatever you're looking for in the flooring area, you're going to get it at Michael's Flooring Outlet, along with customer sales staff that is going to be able to walk you through this process and show you how maybe the Mohawk Smart Strand brand of carpet can help if you need a hypoallergenic solution for your home. You've got pets. You need to make sure that the, carpets aren't holding in all that junk, the pet dander and so on and so forth. They've got an answer for that. Reach out to your locally owned and operated family business, St. Louis business. We celebrate all things St. Louis today on 314 Day. Michael's Flooring Outlet. Find them online at igotfloored.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
How do you make every day more rewarding? You could write about your feelings. You could do sea turtle stuff. You could practice mindfulness. But how? Or you could just do what you already do with Upside, the free app that gives you real cash back wherever you roll. Like that restaurant that has those curly fries you love, or grocery stores that have the freshest sushi, and gas stations placed perfectly on the route of your next road trip. Sometimes it's the little things. Get Upside and get cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SUSHI for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code SUSHI for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Have you always dreamed of a lush green lawn? Get that beautiful curb appeal without the hassle by calling Professional Irrigation Systems. They'll install your new automatic lawn sprinkler system and give you a variety of options and warranties. Don't spend half your day lugging a hose around watering your lawn. Let Professional Irrigation Systems do the work for you. They offer spring activations, backflow testing, mid-season tune-ups, and winterization. Call the pros that have been in business for 20 years. Professional Irrigation Systems. Online at proirrigation.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $7,500 on a new hybrid HVAC system and save an additional 20% when bundled with attic insulation. This is a limited time offer. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk.
We go together, better than birds of a feather, you and me.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I've been dancing on top of cars and stumbling out of bars. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough. You're the medicine and the pain, the tattoo inside my brain. And baby, you know it's obvious, I'm a sucker for you. Say the word and I'll go anywhere blindly. I'm a sucker for you. Yeah. Any road you take, you know that you'll find me. I'm a sucker for you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy St. Louis Day, March 14th. That's 314 and not 341, which is Oakland. And
That's
we
right.
established that because I can't remember our phone number on 314 Day.
Although if you want to call Oakland and complain that the NFL also kind of
Screwed them too?
Yeah, screwed them.
I'm telling you, there's something here.
That's fine.
They're our sister city.
They are.
Apparently.
We didn't know this until now. We have a mutual beef. Let's talk about Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Let's talk about the phrase mutual beef. Instead of doing that, though, I am going to tell you a little bit of a story here. You stop me when you think it's crossed the line. So this is the story of a dad in Manhattan named Robert. I don't know that that's his real name. It may be a pseudonym, but this is his story. He
I'm
says,
a fan of dads.
Okay, good. Then I'll keep going.
Support fatherhood.
It says, when it comes to helping his son achieve academically and socially, there's no expense that's too far for Robert. Whether it's getting orchestra seats at a Broadway show to fan an interest in improv, you can tell this is Manhattan and not St. Louis. Shelling out for Taekwondo lessons to bolster martial arts skills, or encouraging honor roll status with the reward of a caviar dinner.
What? I'm out. out.
Oh, yeah, you're gone?
Caviar dinner.
I am a little confused about a 12-year-old being rewarded with a caviar
I'm
dinner.
confused about a 12-year-old who's going to eat caviar.
Exactly. That doesn't sound... It would be like, hey, Sinjin, I know you're 8. If you do
By the way,
well in this
Sinjin
soccer... That's my son.
His son's name.
Yeah. If you do well in this soccer tournament, I'm getting you a broccoli casserole.
If there was a kid that was going to eat caviar, though, he might be named Sinjin.
Maybe. Maybe. Is that a like a classy name? I don't know. I'm too used to it. I'm too close to it.
It's just like you. Unique.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's why you picked it.
I did. Of course I picked it. No, God picked it. We prayed about it, Annie.
God picked it.
God picked it for us.
I named Molly off of a Disney YouTube blog.
You should have prayed about it.
That's what happened. Well, we did. And then the nurse was like, what's the name? And we were like, we don't know. That's what happens when you have dozens of kids. You run out of names.
Yeah, there's only a few, and you use them all up.
And I've said this before, too. I had 2 names picked out for this baby girl. One was Harris.
Mm-hmm.
The second was Georgia.
I thought you were going to say the other one was Joe Biden.
No, that was the third one. That was right after Molly, and we're like, yeah, we'll go with Molly.
Georgia?
Yes.
And this was after right around the 2020 election, or just after
She was
it?
born June of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We were deciding names, and we had Harris and Georgia as very high level. It was which one of these are we going to pick? I liked Georgie as a name. And then Kamala Harris became the vice president, and we lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia, and it just left a bad taste in my mouth. So we watched Disney YouTube, and we're like, how about Molly? I mean, literally, we were sitting in chairs and in our old people chairs, and I go, what about Molly? And Jared was like, I like Molly. And then we didn't talk about it really much again until we were in the hospital. Sinjin.
So you had Georgia on your mind.
I did. And then I didn't.
And Harris also. Here's the rest of the story of Robert. So
Not Sinjin.
Not Sinjin. Robert, in 2021, found out that his son, 12 years old, was about 4 feet 5 inches tall, which is in the very lowest percentile on the growth chart. 12 years old.
12 years.
4 foot 5. It's not outside of the boundaries of normal.
My son is
It's normal, but it's just on the very low end.
13. He's a 7th grader, so you turn 13, so you're 12 and 13, and I think he's about 5'7".
Okay. That would seem like that was a little on the higher end.
He's taller.
Yeah.
He's not, people don't see him and go,
whoa. Right, but he's on the higher end.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah. So this kid is on the lower end, very lower end, but still within the normal range. Now, Robert took him to a pediatric endocrinologist. Various tests revealed that his short stature was not due to any health concerns. Again, it doesn't mean he has any problems. He's just on the short side. And after much consideration, though, Robert and his wife chose to give their son HGH at a cost of about $3,000.
Holy cow.
And they asked, is this okay? And they said, we will prescribe it. They actually told him, we really want you to prescribe it. He says, quote, we decided to put him on HGH for the social issues. We wanted to help him grow and felt that the reward was worth the risk.
what happens if he doesn't grow?
I don't know.
Imagine saying to your 12-year-old son, son, you're very short. We're going to give you this medicine to make you tall. And then you don't get tall.
Well, I would imagine that the son knows that he's short.
I know that, but imagine your parents acknowledging that it's an issue that you're going to pay thousands of dollars to medicate to fix, and it doesn't get fixed.
But the New York Post goes on to say that this is a very common trend now. It says, quote, one mom wrote that all the rich kids are on them. Said, I want to remain anonymous, but she says there's some parents who are forcing them on their kids. A lot of parents are like, oh, he's only going to be 5'7". That's bad. I'm going to put my kid on HGH.
It's hard for me to reconcile the reality, just as a third-party observer sitting on the bench and not participating, being super outraged about this, but not about transgender surgeries for minors.
Connect those dots for me, because I think I know where you're going, but just explain a little bit more that I don't quite get what you mean.
You're assuming that there's an issue with your child's body and you're medicating it. That's one thing. You take it to another level. You're assuming there's an issue with your child's body and you're changing the physical attributes of the body to the detriment of their ability to procreate in the future.
Well, that's the first thing I thought of too. I just didn't know if that's what everybody was thinking when they read this story, because I thought the same thing. You're almost deciding to alter the natural course here for sure. And
what if they identify as short?
That's a great question. If there's a medical issue, I would say, well, then we could talk about it. But this is specifically saying that there's not.
This is all about the social issue.
This is just social. This is just because their parents looking to give them any advantage, which I get that motive, but this is a line I don't think I would ever cross.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely, and Ryan, you could probably attest to this, there's definitely a stigma with height issues among men.
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe I walked into this.
I can't believe you just realized now that you did.
But
yes, I can.
But it's real. You know, the memes are out there. You know, if like all the girls want a guy who's 6 foot or taller, which even rules me out. You know, they wouldn't even give me a shot because I'm 5'10".
Even Brad.
Even Brad.
You know, not somebody
who's
not
an
somebody like
Adonis
that.
of a man.
Right.
Does not fit that criteria.
Anyway, there are social stigmas, but to medicate your child to change essentially what is his genetics, to change that because you're worried about a social stigma, why not teach your kid how to handle something like that? I know plenty of people that are of below average height that are just great, charismatic people, and people aren't like, I ain't hanging out with him because he's short.
But you do lose out on certain things that you're going to be able to do if you are always of a shorter stature. I need to know more about what are the repercussions, what are the possible consequences or drawbacks of doing it, because there are a lot of things that people do medicinally or through therapy that, I mean, if you want to talk about weight, I don't know that it would be any different to medicate a child who is on track to be obese or is obese to have them lose weight. I mean, that's a health issue, but there certainly is social concerns that go along with being overweight. What does it say anything about what are the medical consequences of doing this?
It doesn't say specifically that here's what you'd have to deal with. It does follow up with them. So this was in 2021, and it says that after 14 months on human growth hormone, his son went from 4'5" to 4'8". And
after a year?
After over a year.
At 12. Well, that's not, I mean, that
how
could
do
be
you know that's the age?
Yeah. My son grew so much. I'll show you guys in the break the difference in 1 year of my son and the way he looks. And I mean, every kid is not like this, but that 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you have a massive growth spurt. And then, so it's like you go from being a boy to a young man in that middle school range. And then in high school, you go from being a young man to a man.
Yeah.
So there's another growth spurt that might happen in high school, maybe even in college. Kind of hard to determine, like, did that growth spurt happen because of the medication?
Right.
I have no business assessing somebody's money that they're spending on it. I don't care how much money somebody spends if it's their own money. If it's my money, if you're saying Illinois state tax dollars are going to pay for the transgender surgeries of minors, I will have something to say about that. If it's your own money and you're spending it and there isn't a dramatic, I mean, if there's no harm being done to the kid, I don't know that I don't know. I probably am less judgmental about it than I originally thought I would be, except for the caviar thing. I'm sticking to that.
Okay, that's fair. I actually like caviar. And so
I was going to say, have you ever had caviar?
We could do another segment on the benefits of caviar if you
I'm
want.
a pass. What about you? Have you ever had caviar?
No.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
fish eggs. It's
I've had Masago on sushi, but not caviar.
Listen to the language.
Ooh, I don't even know what words we're saying.
See?
Now. Yeah, you just said that.
He knows what he's talking
no.
about.
I'm like, how do I eat sushi without any seafood in it? And then apparently it's just rice. Pass. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now. It's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
So if you have an air conditioning system that wasn't working great last time you had it on, when was the last time you had it on? I guess maybe even like September, maybe a little bit into October. You want to make sure that you get it the tune-up that you need, that it's in good working order, and that it's not running with some sort of issue that can be fixed before it breaks the whole darn thing. Air Comfort Service is a phone call away. I trust Air Comfort Service in my home. They have been at my home to service my HVAC system, to do an AeroSeal duct sealing, and to replace the HVAC system as well. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. They're going to come out and treat you with the respect, treat your home with the dignity that it deserves, and give you options regarding the concerns that you have or answers to the concerns you have when it comes to your HVAC unit. They do residential and commercial business as well. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hi guys, it's Mark. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? Did you know that a major medical breakthrough is now available and it isn't a pill? Today, Tuesday, March 14th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. It's backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge. If you're ready to regain the spark in your bedroom, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. You'll also get a gift that can produce rapid and powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is an unprecedented offer worth hundreds of dollars, but call today and qualify totally free. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Russia is about to get a diplomatic slap. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The State Department says the U.S. will summon Russia's ambassador to Washington after an incident over the Black Sea involving a Russian fighter jet and a U.S. surveillance drone.
According to U.S. European Command, 2 Russian Su-27s or Sukhoi 27s went as far as to harass or menace this drone as it was conducting its surveillance. What they described, the fighter jets passed dangerously close to the drone, dangerously close in front of the drone. They went as far as to dump fuel on top of this drone, and ultimately one of the 2 fighter jets struck the propeller of this U.S. Reaper drone, forcing it to ditch in the Black Sea just off the Crimean Peninsula.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Kyiv. President Biden has been briefed on the incident, which White House officials call reckless and unprofessional. The U.S. says the drone was in international airspace. Russia reportedly denies any contact with the drone and claims the aircraft went into uncontrolled flight because of sharp maneuvering. Ohio is suing the Norfolk Southern Railroad over last month's toxic train derailment.
I'm concerned that Norfolk and Southern may be putting profits for their own company above the health and safety of the cities and communities that they operate in.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost announcing a 53-count federal lawsuit. The railroad already faces a class action lawsuit involving residents concerned about potential long-term effects on health and other issues. The company has pledged a full cleanup in East Palestine. President Biden is wrapping up a visit to California with an executive order aimed at increasing background checks on gun buyers and expanding the use of red flag laws. He is set to speak later this hour in Monterey Park, where 11 people were killed in a mass shooting at a Boys and Girls Club in January. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you paying attention to China, Russia, and Ukraine? Any reminders of the Cold War days? If you've been on the fence about buying gold and silver, now is the time to make the call. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call Oxford Gold right now and ask about bonus opportunities you may be eligible for. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chilly times stay with us going through our Tuesday afternoon, but partly to mostly sunny skies and light winds will certainly help. 45 for the high today. Tonight, clear and cold, 28. Wednesday, cold start, though lots of sunshine. Windy and warmer Wednesday afternoon. 57, cloudy skies and 63 on Thursday, but rain for Thursday afternoon with a cold rain on Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful, that increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
So rulerfoods.com is the website where you can find out where the closest Ruler Foods is to you. You can also sign up to know about Ruler Foods promotions when they have great deals and great sales on different things, like 3-pound bags of clementines or Kroger apples, $2.97. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in 3-pound rolls, $2.99 a pound. It's March. How about corned beef or boneless thin pork chops? $3.97 a pound. A&W Canada Dry Ginger Ale or RC Cola 6-packs. 4 for $11 when you buy 4. You can score big savings at Ruler Foods in March. Make sure that you go to their website and you can find out, like I said, what those promotions are and what you need to know to get to the one that's closest to you. Rulerfoods.com.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at SteelUSA.com.
Annie Frey here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
You're listening to award-winning, thought-provoking talk. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
On the air for over 20 years.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm
sweetheart. Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, no, just the group of guys, the atmosphere, the coaching staff, just everything that comes along with this. It's been unbelievably fun. I just had a conversation with Wayno in the dugout, and he said the same exact thing. It's the best time he's had in a while in his life, he said. And, he's been through a lot as well. So, it's just special to put the, USA across your chest and go out there and play for your country and, compete against other countries as well.
So Mike Trout speaking on behalf of Team USA last night after trouncing Canada.
Canada.
Mexico kicked our butts the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of is. I put on Twitter, I will not make baseball analogies about politics. You just had to let it go. Let it be. Let it go. Someone replied to that, well, this tweet's really out of left field. It's like. Yeah.
I feel like that whole sentiment is a home run.
Are you watching the World Baseball Classic, Brad?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, the games are on pretty late.
No later than a West Coast game during the season.
Yeah, I know.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole game last night because it was pretty much over by the third inning.
They didn't have a whole game. It was only 7 innings.
No, I made it to the 6th.
How do you feel about short games in Major League Baseball? If we're going to start a runner at second base in extra innings and give everybody a snow cone after the game, why not just short games?
Well, I know why not, but
I kind of am okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a Brad baseball purist, and I have evolved.
I don't think that there should be a runner on second because I don't think it actually does anything. I don't like the idea of short games in Major League Baseball because, it's a baseball game. You're a professional athlete, play the whole game. I understand why they're doing it on the World Baseball Classic because there's games and then there's games after the game. So if you Israel got short gamed by Puerto Rico as a perfect game or something like that.
Not an official perfect game, but a perfect game.
Right. If you have a game like in the World Baseball Classic, if you have one game at 4 and then the next game is supposed to start at 9 and that first game is like a 25-1 and you've got to play all 9 innings, that game's going to be incredibly long and push back the start time for the later game. So I understand why they're doing it there. In Major League Baseball, there is no reason to do it.
Everybody knows what my favorite thing in baseball is. Position players pitching.
Yes. And with short games, you don't get that.
Live for that. The whole runner on second base in extra innings is supposed to make the game shorter than marathon games because people get hurt and stuff in long games and they don't want to be, you blow through your entire bullpen. And if position players are pitching, then you have no pitchers left, which means you've used your whole bullpen, anybody who's available. And then that screws your team up for a week and money and stuff. I live for pitchers, position player pitching. Aaron Miles was like our
amazing.
Seventh starter.
Him and Jed Jerko. Remember Jed Jerko?
Yeah. How'd you spell Jerko?
Wasn't it like Gyrko or something like that?
Weird.
Euro.
That's the Greek sandwich. Here's a question. When you hear Mike Trout talking, and I like that clip because I love listening to all the clips of people who are talking to Cardinals in the dugout. So Shohei Ohtani is playing for Japan, and you see Lars Nootbaar talking with Ohtani, and I'm like, get him to St. Louis. Like I in my mind, every single conversation that's happening with a Cardinal and another all-star pro is about you should come play in St. Louis. And
it
so
should be.
This is what I've concluded is that we should get Ohtani and Mike Trout.
Yep. They wouldn't be the first famous Angels that we brought to St. Louis.
No, especially mid-contract.
Right.
And the nice thing is that it is that simple. If you like somebody and they say you should play for my team, they can just switch.
Well, you're making a joke, but in all reality, no, I'm serious. You want to know why Nolan Arenado is here? Because he had connections with Matt Holliday and Paul Goldschmidt. That stuff matters. Nolan Arenado said, I want to win championships. He was making a ton of money losing games in Colorado, and he had conversations with people, and they said, you won't even believe what it's like to come here. Wilson Contreras, who's now the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, was wearing a Cubs uniform in the visitor dugout going, I want to be a part of that. I mean, that might be like a joke, but it's freaking true that you are in a position to be influenced by people who understand what it means to play baseball in St. Louis. And, we started this show talking about, like, how do you make St. Louis better? The Cardinals are the best thing that St. Louis has going.
Mm-hmm.
As a business, the Cardinals are it. It means something to play for the St. Louis Cardinals. Across the entire Major League professional baseball atmosphere, I would probably say across the world, when these St. Louis Cardinals, Brad, tell me what you think about this. Like for Lars Nootbaar in Japan, who you and I keep sharing videos back and forth about how much of a just icon he is over there. You think that the people in Japan know about the St. Louis Cardinals?
They do now.
So Taguchi?
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, that's almost a generation now. You know, the little kids that we saw doing the pepper grinder thing, they probably didn't know about the St. Louis Cardinals unless their uncle told them.
I guarantee you they know about the St. Louis Cardinals because of Lars Nootbaar.
Oh, yeah, they do now.
And they knew about Lars Nootbaar before America knew that Lars Nootbaar had a connection to Japan. Japan knew about the connection to Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah.
And when you think about, the idea of being a St. Louis Cardinal, go to Yadier Molina's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
You think they have an understanding of what it means to be the St. Louis Cardinal? I mean, it does mean something. There has been, when you play for the St. Louis Cardinals, you play for the Birds and the Bat, that means something. What does it mean to play for Team USA?
Man, I don't know. I think it's a big deal. If I were given the opportunity to play for a Team USA in anything at any level, I probably would take it because it's pretty cool to have those letters across the front of your jersey. And to know that you're representing the whole country and you're carrying everybody. And when things are going well, you've got the whole country on your side. Even the people who don't watch baseball are like, yeah, Team USA, let's go.
Yeah, if I was at that level, I would take it very seriously. However, as a fan, it gets a little frustrating, and the Olympics are the same way, that all these athletes, I mean, these world-class athletes, baseball is actually probably easier to see this. They all train here. No matter where they're from in the world, everybody who's at that level, if they're sponsored, if they're making enough money to do it, they train here. And then that's why they're the best in the world, because we have the best training in the world. And so the world is so homogenized that it almost feels like a big American competition with a bunch of American athletes.
It's like that now, but it wasn't like that. Back in, well, I mean, if you look at...
But I don't think that's off the point of what I'm trying to say here, which is Freddie Freeman, who is a premier first baseman and decided to play for Canada because his mom was from outside of Toronto and his mom has passed. And Freddie Freeman said, you know what, I'm going to honor my mom by playing for Team Canada. He even said, I don't think this is what my mom would have wanted me to do. But Paul Goldschmidt is the starting first baseman for the Team USA. And I think he saw an opportunity there and a way to honor his mom. And he's playing for Canada. I respect that. That means something to him. For the people who are playing for Team Canada, does that mean something to represent Canada? Does it mean something to represent the United States? Do you think it means something to represent the Dominican to those players or Puerto Rico? I mean, that's everything. Japan, China, the freaking Czech Republic. There's a guy I think there's a chiropractor who's on that team. I was listening to a Ben Verlander podcast about it, and their starting pitcher is their social media director.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's neat.
But if you when you hear Mike Trout, it warmed my heart to hear Mike Trout talk about representing the United States. And it just occurred to me that what does that mean? And I honestly kind of feel like baseball might be the final frontier where you can say, go Team USA, and just be proud to be American, cheering for an American sport.
Well, certainly because it's not an Olympic sport, right? I mean, it is now. It is again?
Yeah.
So to go away.
2020 was the...
So... Yeah, I think you're hitting on something really important, and that's that if you're a player, because I've tried to put myself in Adam Wainwright's shoes, as I often do, and think through what it would be like if you'd already achieved all the success in Major League Baseball. There's something different about putting your country on your chest and going out and representing your country that I do think matters if you're the player.
Yeah. The chance to pitch for a championship as a member, as representing your country, not just your city or your regional area, but the whole country, that has to be amazing. I saw an interesting stat about the home runs that Kyle Schwarber's hit, and he's hit them in like the ALCS, the NLCS, all of them.
Name it.
Yeah, and he's hit one as one.
Schwarber.
And the only one he hadn't hit was as a member of Team USA.
World Baseball Classic.
And boom, the first game, he hit a home run in the World Baseball Classic. And I promise you that means a ton to him. Same thing Trout had hit a big old home run that night when he had that interview.
We're talking about, though, what it means to these players. It can't be about what it means to the individual player. What about the people? If you haven't watched a World Baseball Classic game yet, tune in and watch one. These people are crazy. It's so funny to watch. I'm sitting there going, show the crowds, show the fans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first game that I watched was the United States versus Mexico. And there's this whole crowd of guys sitting behind home plate. And they have, I think LA don't the Dodgers have a background? I don't know. It's recessed. Maybe it was just Arizona.
The Dodgers have one.
I mean, because they're playing in Arizona right now, the ones that I was watching. But there's a crowd of people that their seats are below ground level, but you can see their heads, and there's like maybe 2 or 3 rows back there. And these guys look like they're co-eds from a college. They're drinking, and they're all basically doing the umpire's job for them and punching people out. And there was this one time where I think the United States was up to bat. I think it might have been Nolan Arenado, and there was a check swing. And the home plate umpire called it ball, and the entire background pointed to the first base umpire. And they're like, check the swing. And then I think he called him for a strike. It's just incredibly entertaining. And all of these people, I don't know, it just seems more wholesome than a team, a world. It just seems, gosh, knock on wood, free of drama. Where the Olympics is always full of drama. I don't compare this to the Olympics at all. It didn't even occur to me to compare it to the Olympics because I don't pay attention to them. But to get behind the United States as something you put across your chest and wear as a point of pride, not because of what you get to do for your country, but to put your country's name on your chest and say, this is what I'm playing for. I want to represent this thing that I love. What is it that's so great about it that you would want to represent? Because I don't feel like outside of what I've seen in baseball that there is a public secular celebration where we collectively go, America, aside from politics or anything like that. I almost feel like this World Baseball Classic has been a moment where it's very refreshing to say, yeah, that's right, USA. Chant the USA.
Mm-hmm. This one's not really about the money either, right? Because I just said, there's a lot of money even in the Olympics, even though it's supposed to be a bunch of amateurs.
I haven't heard anybody talk about the money in it.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a great thing, is that if this World Baseball Classic, these guys are doing this, it's like the All-Star Game where they don't really want to play it anymore as much because they're worried about hurting themselves. They've cast that out for this.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys play. They have definitely cast that aside.
Yeah.
They are sliding, diving, everything, and it's because it means something.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's not the money. It's about the name on the front of the jersey. What is the line from Miracle? The name on the front of the jersey is a heck of a lot more important than the name on the back. You know?
I remember the line.
But that's what they're out there doing. They're playing it out there for their country, for their people, for their own heart. And like Annie said, it's not politics, it's not anything. It's like America's better at baseball, and that's what we're going to go with, and we're going to root for our team and go with it.
I just encourage you to take a look at it and watch it. There are a lot of St. Louis Cardinals who are participating in this thing. And, last night, Tyler O'Neill was up to bat. Tyler O'Neill was a 3-hitter for Canada. Goldschmidt's a 3-hitter for the United States. Arenado is the 4-hitter. It was fantastic. Lance Lynn started the game. Miles Michaelis finished the game. This is just a lot of Cardinals representation. Lance Lynn, I still would claim as a Cardinal on the field. Fun to watch him play, especially if you know kind of the guy that Lance Lynn is. And my son was watching it. We let him stay up to watch it. And Tyler O'Neill was up, and he goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to cheer for here. And my husband and I were both like, what do you mean? What to cheer for? Team USA, obviously. And he was like, oh, sorry. And my husband and I looked at each other like, oh, we came off a little harsh on that one. I think it should have been obvious. But I don't know. It's a positive thing. Someone can ruin my sunshine parade here in our YouTube chat to tell me why it's the worst thing in the world, usually how these things evolve. But for right now, I think if you're looking for something to engage in, the World Baseball Classic, Team USA, and all the other teams, there's a lot of great stories out there that you can take in and enjoy. And I also said to my husband, it's so weird whenever baseball season gets back into the flow, how we dedicate 2 to 3 hours every night, just sitting down and watching baseball. It's just what you do. We do our work, we get the kids ready, but the baseball game is on. Right now, we're just filling time in the evenings. I can't wait for baseball to be back. And I'm glad that I've never been into the World Baseball Classic before. Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani to the St. Louis Cardinals.
To the Cardinals.
Just putting that out there. Yeah. What if the World Baseball Classic makes that happen?
It was all worth it.
Yeah. One of our first callers said that the way to improve St. Louis is to spend money in the starting rotation. So get Shohei here.
If Newt Barr can convince Ohtani to take the same contract that Arenado did, that would be great.
He's going to have to convince the Angels.
That's fine.
More
he
than,
can talk to them
than
too.
Ohtani.
I was going to say, Arenado got his contract.
Look,
it's the same one that he was signed
it's all
to.
just discussions. That's all we need. Just send Newt Barr to L.A. for a couple days.
They just fleeced the Rockies with that trade.
We give them Pujols back. We did.
Yeah.
He's back. Give us Ohtani.
Yep.
Deal? Deal. Bye.
Deal. Bye.
Let's take a quick break. We'll talk about the YouTube live chat poll. Who is your desired 2024 Democrat presidential nominee? If these are your options, who do you want the Democrats to run? Everyone's like, I don't want any of these. Some of you do. A couple of you do. But who do you want to run against? Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, or Sanders? Go vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage. You can call Stewie. You can text Stewie 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. When you work with Stewie, you are going to be able to have a conversation about your specific situation, and he's going to be able to apply the bagel loan in a way that's going to help you save money, because when you use the bagel loan, you don't pay any money, any of those closing costs that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. This is going to save you thousands of dollars on your home purchase. If you're looking to buy a house right now, newsflash, rates are low. Lock it in right now with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. They have come down since all of the economic craziness has been taking place. You reach out to him at 314-324-4440 and you get the process started. He can close in 12 days. So if you're making an offer on a home, he also has the ability on his website, once you get pre-approved for whatever amount it is that you're pre-approved for, you can generate your own pre-approval letters without having to wait on a third party to do it. Reach out to Stewie, talk about the bagel loan with him for your mortgage refinance or your new home purchase. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
Here at Odyssey, we know that all too often the news is filled with stories that just heighten the level of tension and anxiety in your daily life. So we've decided to puncture those worries and fears like a jet fighter shooting down a spy balloon from China. Or is it aliens now? Who can keep up? And that's the point. You don't have to, thanks to our new podcast, Name That News. We'll play you a handful of clips from the week, wildly out of context, and let you try and figure out just what is going on. Just like you do every day when the news is on, just more fun. Name That News, available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet Store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet Store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. Go to thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com. Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Let's vote for Ophthalmology Associates as best laser eye treatment in St. Louis Magazine's A-List competition. Online at stlmag.com.
Guns N' Roses is coming to Busch Stadium on September 9th, and every hour you log into the Odyssey app, you'll be entered to win. Between now and March 26, stream 97.1 on your device, and you could win tickets to see Guns N' Roses. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You know what Nelly's real name is?
Jim Robinson.
Not a clue.
Cornell Earl Haynes Jr.
Ah, I was close.
And according to Google.
Is this Nelly? I guess so.
Unbelievable.
I don't know.
Man, if you're over at 1041 and you heard that because you're eating food outside, just come get him.
Yeah.
Just come get him.
Do the spit take.
Walk into DNC sitting out there right now, and he just went, and he looked in your general direction, and just come get him. Take him now.
Come into the studio and reenact the spit take too. I would love to see.
Oh no,
that.
everybody knows. Just I need two of you, lift him up by each arm, carry him out, put him in 96.3 the loo, set him in there, soak it in.
These are the things I'm trying to learn on 314 Day. You understand that this is a day for
you were
this.
In St. Louis, you don't get to say 314 Day and go, is this Nelly? We are trying so hard to be cool and relevant on this station, and Ryan, you're not.
No, hey, there are times. Hey, we were just talking about caviar and Masago, and you were left out of that conversation.
That is neither cool nor relevant.
What does that have
Yes,
to?
it is.
What does that have to do with this conversation right now?
Man, Hayes is out there. Actually, he's standing there looking at me going, he's holding his hands up.
Come in here.
And he's wearing a shirt that says St. Louis.
Come in here, Hayes. I know, right? I take him away.
I still don't even know the song. It's not as if I was like, oh, I recognize it now. I don't even know the song.
What? Just do the thing, Hayes. Turn your microphone. Is it on? Is it up? Okay.
Are we good? So you didn't realize EI is by Nelly?
Is that a word or a letter?
Hayes, I don't think he could have identified the song.
EI, as in the letters E and I? Do they stand for something?
Can't talk about that on the radio.
E-I. Did you
Go
know?
ahead and look at it.
Did you know what Nelly's real name was?
Yeah, Cornell.
See, obviously.
Well, I knew that was a university.
Everybody knew that.
So wait, born and raised, we're about the same age. We've had this connection here lately. Born and raised St. Louis area, Illinois, Hillside. No clue. EI.
No.
Wow.
Like I said, even if you're telling me now, it's not like I'm, yeah, it's all coming back to me. I didn't even know the information.
But see, I'm over here on 97.1 saying this over, at 98 that make a difference. Everyone else is probably like, I didn't know it was EI.
No, you guys really are everyone. If Annie knows it,
Undele,
then it's
mama,
everybody.
EI.
Well, I know that.
What's
Wait, that's
happening?
the intro to that song? Okay, I'm connecting it now.
I'm a sucker for cornrows and Manifield.
Yeah,
right.
I know the song now. But we never got that. That's a long intro. What is that, just an instrumental?
That's not the intro. That's the
Do you
instrumental.
want me to play Nelly's song with words on 97.1 right now?
Yes.
Oh, my
Apparently,
gosh.
it's fine for the radio, according to Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a radio edit.
Sure,
Obviously,
there's a
we play
radio
it,
edit.
yeah.
There's a lot of things that are allowed to be played that, with better judgment, I choose the instrumental because it's like a wink to the people like Hayes who are listening or like, hey, conservative talk radio dropping some Nelly. And Ryan on the show's like, oh, who's this artist?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute now.
This is Nelly?
Mama, EI, EI, uh-oh. So EI is the name of the
What's
song.
popping tonight?
EI. Okay. I'm starting to connect some dots. I know what the letters T and the letters A stand for.
Oh, my gosh.
And I know that we can't talk about that.
Are you just picking letters now?
Yeah, just picking letters.
Just Google it. It's out there. And we'll get back to each other. Sorry, I got to go play Nelly next door real quick.
All right.
but-
Will you take him with you?
Yeah, I'll educate you.
It would be great. I'm going to go over there.
Thank God for Hayes on Y98. He's literally walking over to Y98 right now to do his job. I guess it's really not part of your job to know, Nelly, but it's amazing that you drive into St. Louis every day, and that was news to you.
How did you go to high school in the relatively similar time as us?
No kidding.
Well, now that you have said the chorus of the song, I do know the song.
Fish don't fry in the kitchen.
Yeah, I know it. That's from the Jeffersons. And Nelly.
Beans don't burn in the grill.
Also Jeffersons, also Nelly. But I do recognize it now. And I am with it. You could say I'm pretty cool and modern now that I do know that song. Didn't know it's called EI. And didn't know. Give me a break a little bit here because you were playing the endless intro to the song, right? That's not the song. That's just.
It's the
You
it's
could
the music
forever
bed.
music.
You could have gotten it off of the very first
Listen,
couple notes.
if you are on the YouTube live chat right now, or if you're not, get on there right now to tell me if you heard that song. I want to know your age and whether you recognize that that was a Nelly song.
ASL. Tell us all.
No,
of
no,
those
no,
things.
no, 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 no. Just, you can even give me your general age frame, time stamp there. You just say, I'm in my 40s. I knew.
That song
Okay.
turns 23 this year.
See? It's not cool.
Yeah, it's almost old enough to be a cougar.
Not quite. You got to be pretty old to be a cougar. Josh says, Ryan, I back you most of the time, but you got to take the L on this one. I get that, Josh. I'm not trying to pretend that I shouldn't have known that song. I'm just being honest and telling you that I didn't. And it just occurred to me after Hayes told me actually you guys sang the lyrics to the song.
There's so many things that we do on this show, incredibly purposeful, that Ryan has no idea that we're doing on purpose.
No, I'm pretty out of it. You guys do a good show, though. I got to give you that.
You usually let us know when you think, though.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume what that means when you don't say anything.
Most of the time, I don't say anything.
Anywho, happy St. Louis Day, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. The YouTube live chat poll today, while you were there to let us know if you knew that that was a Nelly song. Who is your desired 2024 Democrat presidential nominee? This was a Ryan suggested poll. Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, or Sanders? I'll let you go first. Who do you want?
Harris. I want Harris. I think she'd be the easiest to beat among any of those candidates, although Biden's not too far behind.
Craig says, I will be 47 years old this year, and I knew that song within maybe 2 seconds of it starting.
Exactly.
Thanks, Craig.
Look, hey, you guys are in the majority here. I get it.
Mm.
Now, if I lost Annie, then I know sometimes I'm okay.
Well, I don't know that you're okay, but we're on the same side.
But we're at least, yeah. I got some support.
We're not alone.
Yeah.
For sure. No, you don't have me in this one.
No.
What do you think, Brad? Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, or Sanders?
Man. So I along the lines of what Ryan's saying, I think Kamala Harris is the weakest candidate of the group mentioned there. So she's the one that I would want to run because I think she would be the one
Easiest
that would be easiest to beat. I think a close second, though, I think Mayor Pete would be a close second.
Really?
Yes, because I think that the more time you give him after what he's done, I think the more like smug and arrogant he's going to come off.
I say Harris too. So we're 3 for 3 on Kamala Harris. What a disaster that would be. It would be so difficult for me to go through that campaign season because I cannot stand her. The week before he picked her for the vice president, she dropped out, and I was just very happy that she was gone. She had no substance to her whatsoever. She did perform surprisingly well in some of the debates, specifically targeting Joe Biden. And then who knew what was in store? And then as soon as he said, I'm going to choose a woman of color to be my vice presidential candidate, I'm like, I just kind of thought, no, don't do it. And then there we are. So she got to go along, and the fact that she didn't have any support hardly at all going into her candidacy as the VP on that ticket, she managed to make it into the White House, which is pretty shocking. I think she would be a disaster as a presidential candidate. Democrats don't like her.
No, nobody does.
Isn't that amazing? Are you back to talk more about this? No.
Hayes wants to weigh in on the poll of the day.
Good. We'll circle back here for a second. Before we get to Hayes and more St. Louis education for Ryan Wiggins, who's new here, apparently. Who's the scariest of those candidates for the Republicans to face? Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, or Sanders? Which would be the scariest to win?
Maybe Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders scares me.
I think
Although
so, too.
he is losing his fastball, speaking of getting older. I mean, he was already old.
What a low bar.
Yeah. He's had some hits against him in the last 6 years or so.
So you think Sanders, he's the scariest?
I don't know.
His policies being in charge.
What's crazy is the reason I even suggested this, those are the 4 leading candidates right now, according to the polls on the Democrat side. So it's not as if I'm making that up.
And I'm telling you what, depending on who the Republicans win and how they run, any of those 4 could potentially win. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised by anything. So just shifting back into 314 day for a hot second here. Hayes has rushed back in the studio, so we sit and listen.
I'm not going to read what this paper says, and those that are listening can Google for themselves or not.
Yeah.
But I brought this in for Wiggins to read what the meaning of EI is.
I kind of Googled it, and I thought,
did you? Okay.
That's really all I need to know.
And Hannah was like,
Education and
people,
inclusion.
it's split, though. People are like, I've never heard the song either, or they've spelt Nelly with an I and an E. So how would you spell Nelly?
With a Y.
There we go. We got that going for us.
Where do you put the Y?
That's an X's and O's. That's an X's and O's question. But anyway, I'll go ahead and give you that.
Yes, obviously.
I highlighted it.
We love Nelly on the
We
NFL
do.
show.
Oh.
Wait. That still doesn't mean, it's an acronym for.
Hey.
Oh, you can say the acronym.
No.
You can. EI. I won't say it if you don't want me to, but
no,
it's
I don't
totally
want
fine.
you to. That's why it's the instrumental version. Like I said, it was supposed to be subtle. This is the opposite of subtle.
Oh, I see. There's 2 meanings for the
There we go.
So you guys were thinking about the one, and I was talking about the other.
Ryan, study. We'll be right back.
All right.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw, another Protecting Your Retirement educational event. Don't miss it. You do have to sign up and reserve your spot, but I'd love to meet you there. I'll be there. And when you sit down and you listen to what he has to say at this free event, you're going to be able to listen to how he has helped people just like you who are very close to retirement feel comfortable going into retirement. Worry-free retirement, an exhale, if you will. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event. You call 314-993-9494 to reserve your spot at the Tuesday, March 21st event at the Frontenac Hilton. Starts at 6:30 p.m. I get there about 6 o'clock and try to meet as many of you as I can, so get there early. And I would love to shake your hand and say hello. Seats are limited, so reserve your spot at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. It's the Protecting Your Retirement educational event, Tuesday, March 21st. Mark Reardon, Mark Cox, myself, showing up at around 6 o'clock. Event starts at 6:30. Reserve your spot at retirementkey.com.
Ashley's Orange event is happening for 3 days only. Friday through Sunday only. Save 30% off store-wide. Or get 60 months no interest with no minimum purchase and no down payment. Don't miss Ashley's biggest event of the year. Shop hot deals starting at $199. Plus, shop Ashley Sleep Doorbuster mattresses. Your choice Comfort Queen mattress now only $399. Text 79975 to schedule your appointment today. Friday through Sunday only. In store at Ashley.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-324-0231. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-324-0231 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-324-0231 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-324-0231.
Ready to smell your best everywhere? You deserve a deodorant capable of actually controlling body odor, not just covering it up. Lumi is the whole body deodorant powered by science that controls unwanted odor for 72 hours on our pits, feet, and privates. We didn't create deodorant. We just changed everything about it. Lumi blocks odor from happening in the first place. It's aluminum-free and pH optimized to control odor safely on all the right places. And did I mention it's vegan and cruelty-free? With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it or return it for free. There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 901 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 901. LumeDeodorant.com, code 901 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 901.
So rulerfoods.com, you can go find out how you can score big savings at Ruler Foods. I appreciate the opportunity to shop there pretty much once a week. We can get staples at Ruler Foods, but the other thing that I really like about it is they have all the name brands that we would normally shop. We get soda at Ruler Foods, we get produce at Ruler Foods, we get a lot of dairy products at Ruler Foods, but they also have Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices, which means it's another really great opportunity for us to save. And with the specials that they run, you can save even more on other types of products. 3-pound bags of clementines, oranges, as my little girl, Molly, she loves oranges. She loves clementines. Kroger apples, $2.97 a pound. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in 3-pound rolls, $2.99 a pound. Corned beef or boneless thin pork chops, $3.97 a pound. Lots of ways to save all the time at Ruler Foods. You don't have to clip coupons. You don't have to go through all that pre-planning. You just go shop and you save money. It's really that simple. Rulerfoods.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Onder Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, join us. It's our weekly visit with Brian Kilmeade. Also, Joe Bartosh from London on the families destroyed by so-called gender-affirming care.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you spending some of 314 day with us here at the Annie Frey Show, 97.1 FM Talk. Hannah is tricked out in some St. Louis gear. Did you know that last song that we played was Nelly?
I did. I put it in purposely.
The song is older than you are.
It is. It's 23. I'm 21. I cannot believe you did not know that song, Ryan.
You ever heard of this Nelly, though, before today? Or before you started working here and doing the bump music? Because you get a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, it took her getting a job at 97.1 to find out about Nelly.
Yeah.
That's what it took me.
I know. We know the date and time. It was 314 day, 2:35 p.m.
We will
the bump
always
music
remember
came on
this
the show.
moment.
I clipped that, by the way.
Is this Nelly? Oh my gosh! You know that last
Send that
song we
to
played.
Nelly.
That last song we played was Nelly also.
Wait. Was it really? No, it was not. Stop it.
Yeah,
That's not Nelly. That's
not Nelly.
That's not Nelly. I can't think of that guy's name.
That's Chingy.
Bobby McFarlane. Farland.
Man, if you're gonna throw a name out, maybe just
Oh,
know how to
man.
say it.
I don't know. McFarren. It is McFarren. Got it. Nailed it.
What's your favorite St. Louis thing, Ryan, other than Nelly and this show?
I really like the zoo. It's true though. I like the zoo.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
don't know why you're laughing so much
I
at
don't
that.
know because I thought that's probably not what people were expecting.
Especially now since they have that special like plus up where the bear gets loose every once in a while.
Cocaine bear.
No, I mean literally the bear keeps getting out.
The bear.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know
Twice.
about this either. Man, now I kind of want to go to the zoo more.
I know, it's exciting. You have to pay extra though. Hannah, what's your favorite St. Louis thing?
Favorite St. Louis thing, other than going to a Blues game, would be toasted ravioli.
T-Ravs.
Man, you guys are making it hard because, like, I want to say Cardinals, but that's like the easy one. So I want to.
Let's take Cardinals off the table.
Okay, let's take Cardinals off the table.
Obvi.
I'm gonna say pork steaks.
Ooh, love pork steaks. Love pork steaks.
Hannah, big pork steaks fan. You look like a werewolf when you that you.
People don't know. I've had friends come into town. They're like, "What's a pork steak?" I was like, "Oh, this will change
A
your
lot
life."
of people don't like them.
Oh, all of my friends
I don't
have loved
love
them. The best one, I took my friend to Fitz's Root Beer, and they had a pork steak there, and I bet you it was 3 inches thick, and it was just smothered in barbecue sauce. He's like, "This is the best thing I've ever had, ever."
Oh, that's interesting. 3-inch thick pork steak.
It was fantastic.
Why are you talking like that?
Well,
I hate
because they're
it.
usually
Ew.
pretty thin.
Pork
you know?
steaks?
Oh yeah, when you go to the backyard barbecues, they're not thick at all. They're pretty thin.
1.25 inches.
You're going to some weak barbecues.
It's them Illinois barbecues.
Yeah.
We're all from Illinois.
I am not.
She's
St.
like,
Louis,
not.
we
She's-
don't do pork steak
she's like-
week.
The pork steaks on this side of the river are bussin'.
I've never heard of someone talk about pork steaks needing to be thin.
No, I'm saying that the thin ones are why I don't like them because they're always too thin. If there was a really thick pork steak, I think I might be more interested.
Well, Fitz's Root Beer. There you go.
Guess I'm going to go to Fitz's right after the show.
What's my favorite thing about St. Louis?
What's your favorite thing about St. Louis?
I'm asking myself. I should have thought of this because I asked the question first.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
I mean, the Cardinals are certainly one of them. I'm trying to think of what's the most St. Louis thing. It's not T-Rabs. Gooey butter cake is good, but it's kind of embarrassing.
No,
What?
it's not. It's good.
I love gooey butter cake.
Well, obviously, it's sugar-flavored butter.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're becoming more well-known for it, as
Yeah.
well as frozen custard.
But I mean, it's better than being known for murder. If you give somebody gooey butter cake, it blows their mind. If they've never had anything like that, and then they're like, "What's in this?" It's like, don't
worry about it.
It's just deliciousness.
Just some sludge.
Just love.
Oh man, have you ever had one that people made wrong? Like they didn't do it quite right, and it didn't bake all the way, and it's like
Soupy?
pudding. Oh man, that's some stuff.
You prefer a cookie or cookie dough?
Soft cookie. I would say an in-betweener between the two.
Basically a like not fully cooked cookie.
Kinda, yeah.
Me too.
Cookie dough.
I don't know why anybody bakes cookies. Just eat the cookie dough.
True.
No, I don't want to just eat cookie dough though. I want it a little bit baked.
Okay, I have a St. Louis question. Do people in Illinois ask one another all the time where they go to high school?
No.
So that truly is a St. Louis thing.
Very much.
Like only.
Wow.
People ask me where I go to high school. I don't even know what to tell them because I went to 2 high schools, and it just kind of basically I just decide who I want them to think that I am based on how I answer. I went to the private Lutheran high school, which is where I went 3 out of 4 years, or I went to Edwardsville High School. If they're asking about athletics, I played 3 sports at Edwardsville High School. If you say that, they're really impressed. But it's like it was my sophomore year, and I did it. It's part of a thing, but it just makes people, I don't know why it's so necessary.
Well, you know it's a status symbol question. So that's why I always
That's
just
what I'm
answer,
saying. That's
I
why
answer poor.
The poor school.
I just say poor.
I can choose between the two high schools that I went to, and it's just like, who am I talking to? What do they want to know?
Yeah.
Just tell them that high school. Do you participate in that? Do you find yourself doing that?
I do. I feel like it's
Hannah,
a
where'd you go to
habit.
high school?
I went to Rockwood Summit High School.
What does that mean?
Yeah, tell the rest of us what that means.
What does that
Does
mean when
mean
someone
poor?
hears that?
Well, they know.
What if it does?
No, I don't know.
You were betting 1,000 today. Wow.
Is there a high school like if somebody said
It symbols sports. It symbols.
So it's a good athletic school.
It's a good athletic school. We had well, honestly, it was different when I went there. Even what was that? 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Way
Wow,
back.
that was only 3 years ago. Education might be a little different now, but I don't know. I feel like it is a symbol. And as a creature of habit,
Great.
I ask people where they go to high school.
Yeah. And do you judge them? Probably a little bit.
I do.
Which high school do you judge the most?
No, don't say that.
I'm not outing that
no.
on the air.
Greg says St. Louis is also the only city where kids have to tell a joke on Halloween. We do not do that on Illinois.
Yeah,
and
we don't do
You
that.
don't?
No, never heard of it until like
You know
I
how many
realized
times
St.
I've
Louis
like
does it.
cried because I didn't have a joke and couldn't get candy?
Just learn that one time that like cry the first time and then
Yeah.
learn your lesson and then you don't have to cry anymore.
Can you answer that question though? How many times
How many times what?
did you cry because you didn't have a joke?
A lot.
Should have came trick or treating in Illinois.
Should have asked Ryan Wiggins
you-
for some jokes. That'd really solved your problem.
Don't you guys not do you guys not trick or treat on Halloween? Isn't that another thing?
Halloween, but Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, and maybe Alton will trick or treat the night before, and that's pretty much just because they have a big Halloween parade on Halloween. But you can trick or treat on both.
You can really do anything you want. You can trick or treat now.
I don't think you can.
Let's not do that. I don't.
You should
suggest
try
that to
it, though.
anybody.
I think Ryan should try that.
JS says Beast Barbecue for the best thick pork steaks.
Yeah,
Ooh, the Beast is
Belleville's good. Yeah.
People are talking also about St. Louis being known for their beer. I mean, Anheuser-Busch products.
That's
If you
true.
see Budweiser, I know InBev and all that stuff, but if you see Budweiser out in the wild, you're kind of like, oh,
home.
Yeah.
Beer.
Yeah. There's something about that label.
I do suggest if you live in St. Louis, you got to go to the Budweiser Brewery Tour. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
awesome, and it shows a ton about our city. That was awesome when I went.
Let's do the YouTube live chat poll. Hannah, what do you got for us today?
All right, who is your desired 2024 Democrat presidential nominee? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, or Bernie Sanders?
So who is the desired nominee is important.
Desired. We've had a ton of comments today. A lot of people are mad at us for asking this question or saying that they're not wanting to participate. Chris F says, I feel dirty choosing one of these.
Wait, what?
You get to pick your opponent, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
No
like Mortal
kidding.
Kombat fighting the computer.
This is the Annie Fry Show YouTube poll, people, not something.
Not Mortal Kombat.
Incredibly
fighting
scientific.
Right.
Will impact the future course of United States politics.
Jackie S. says, for the poll, I selected Biden. Many of his previous voters have seen enough. Harris would have been my second choice. JC says, if I have to answer on one, I will go with Joe Biden as well because there's no way he can legit get reelected. So it will only help the Republicans.
Get it together, Hannah.
Michael
This is
says,
gonna be
I would
it better
vote.
be a funny one now.
I would vote for my daughter's St. Bernard before I would vote for any listed of the Democrat nominees.
Just in
Michael.
the poll. It's just a poll.
Michael, and I had a St. Bernard. You got a problem with St. Bernards? You're comparing
No.
them to Democrats.
He-
Come on.
Never mind.
He said they were better.
Fred says, I'm having a hard time answering the poll question. Some people believe that Joe Biden is doing a good job. I feel unless we do elections like they did it might not matter. Quick Rick says, of the suggested nominees in the presidential poll, I would say Kamala Harris would have the least chance of winning.
That's a vote for Kamala.
Yep.
A lot of people, once again, saying they're not going to participate.
Kurt, I politely declined to participate in today's poll.
Like, who would you pick? No, thank you.
Ron says, if
We do
Joe-
have a lot less votes in today's poll than we
I
normally
know.
do.
People seriously won't vote. Ron says, if Joe goes down, I want Buttigieg because Trump or DeSantis would eat him alive in a debate.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's do the results.
Well, I mean, really, all these comments are like complaining about not wanting to vote.
Sorry, it was a bad poll. It was Ryan's idea.
It
Literally.
was.
Yeah, it was all right.
That
It's
was
fine.
Ryan's idea.
Just give it to me.
Okay,
I'll
who
take
is
the
your
whole show down
desired
today.
2024 Democrat presidential nominee? Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, or Sanders? Joe Biden wins with 39%. Kamala
Does he really?
with
Does
24.
he win? Is it a win?
I guess. Pete with 21. Bernie Sanders with 16%.
Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, Sanders. Happy 314 day. Ryan, you're going to have to go learn more about Nelly. Now we'll send you over to Hayes on Y98 and then our sister station 96.3 The Lou. That's short for St. Louis.
Okay.
And
Just learned something else.
There's some St. Louis food out there right now for you to partake in, covering basically every surface in the kitchen.
Yeah, we go roll around in it.
Happy St. Louis Day. Gross. The Mark Rude Show up next.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit or ERC. Go to Refunds.com to get started and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during